All right, welcome everybody to the first episode of the Goof Troop podcast. Almost forgot our name. I am Jared, and I'm joined with the co-host Zach, Nishan,
Hello.
and Sarah.
Hey, what's up?
But yeah, pretty busy, like 2 to 3 weeks with a bunch of like crazy stuff coming out. We have a bunch of influencers talking inappropriately to children, and it just doesn't stop. Influencers just can't stop talking to children.
There's more and more coming out every day. It's sad.
Yeah, literally today, I was reading one about some zombie YouTuber that was talking to some minors. So allegedly, obviously, but crazy stuff.
Oh my God! I seen a disturbing video of that guy on Twitter. Like
This guy?
yeah. Oh no, the zombie YouTuber you're talking about.
Yeah,
He's talking
yeah.
about that video. They're just kissing.
Yeah, of them like kissing.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Oh my gosh, that video sucks. I'm not gonna show it, obviously, but I say we just go ahead and just jump into the topics that I have. Starting with the Cody Co stuff. This happened about like 2 weeks ago, I want to say. This is updated, obviously, like yesterday.
Right.
But yeah, so Cody Co, for people who may not know, he's a pretty popular YouTuber.
I don't know who this is.
Yeah, he mainly just does like commentary stuff where he just like covers, like he reacts to stuff, and he just makes little funny jokes about it. And that's about it. He has like a podcast of his own called like the TMG podcast that he like has with one of his friends. And there is allegations of him having sex with an underage influencer whenever he was 25, as it says right here. So this is the whole timeline of everything that is alleged and when it happened and stuff. So right here it says in June, influencer Tana Mojo, who's 26 now, alleged that Cody, who's 33 now, had sex with her whenever she was underage. And he has yet to like make a statement. This happened a little while ago. Oh wait, this doesn't have like the timestamps of everything. Oh, this does. So this is the full thing. So June 20th, Tana Mojo comes out and she speaks about Cody Co on Trisha Paytas's podcasts. And
But she didn't make like a formal report like to the police or anything. It just came out on a podcast.
yeah, well actually, no, sorry, I skipped this part. She, I guess she did like some meetup thing or whatever. Where I guess we can maybe like watch it.
Been to on this tour.
What's my favorite city I've been to?
Least favorite.
Least favorite city I've been to on
Oh,
tour.
wait.
New Orleans,
I skip forward?
Louisiana. I hate that place. Who's the most famous person you've ever had sex with? Oh my god. Like maybe Tyler.
Mine's Drake.
What's your least favorite brand you've ever worked with?
Least favorite brand.
Can I
I've
skip
ever
forward?
worked with.
Holy
One
crap.
time, we sold
What happens if you
out
click
for
on it? Will it take you to
apartment
TikTok?
in New
It will
York.
most likely take me to
Apartment
TikTok.
in New York.
Do full screen, you might be able to skip
Dual
forward.
charger that charged your
Uh-oh.
phone from
Aw,
your
I get
phone.
scammed.
It was
Okay, well, pretty much they ask her a question, and it's like, oh, right here. What is the smallest dick she's ever had sex with? She replies with, "Oh my gosh, no one look at me, Cody Co. I can say that. I was literally 17."
Oh wow.
So she comes. This happened live. She said it live, and then she goes on here to kind of like reiterate that point where she what is it? She received a lot of hate online from people who didn't believe her accusations. She appeared on Trisha Paytas's podcast, and she explained that where is it? To protect Cody, she said that she'd probably be getting more sympathy. Okay, wait, where is it? I started going viral, seeing so many people not believing me, being like, "It's Tana, so who cares?" I started feeling bad for so many other girls who maybe look up to me and want to speak their truth and see the way that people just don't believe people. So yeah, that's like a main thing that's happening with her, because Tana Mojo, if you guys don't know, she's kind of like a controversial person on the internet. She's had a lot of controversies in the past. A lot of people just don't like her. So whenever she made these accusations, a lot of people just came at her and it's like, "Oh, it's Tana. Who cares if she got like molested or groomed or whatever?" She's like, "It's Tana Mojo. Who really cares?" or like she had it coming or whatever. Some pretty awful, disgusting stuff.
Are people saying they don't care, or are people just saying, "Oh, I don't believe her"?
I think people are just saying they don't care.
Yeah, like they don't care because it's her, right?
Oh.
Which is like obviously that's terrible. And then she discusses it more on Cancelled, which I guess is another podcast, where she says, "I hooked up with Cody Ko whenever I was 17 and he was 25." She stated, adding, "Yeah, it happened." The podcast host shared that she doesn't associate or hold it with trauma because worse things have happened to her in her life. She did know, at 25 now, I would never do anything like that. So I'm like, what the F is wrong? What the F is wrong with you?
Yeah, because like as an adult, you're like, whoa,
Yeah, exactly.
that's really weird. Like, I shouldn't have even been talking to at all this 25-year-old man. Like,
Exactly.
Like you would
it's a pretty big age gap.
15-year-old.
Yeah, for sure.
So weird.
She also claimed that fellow social media star Gabby Hanna once pulled Cody aside and warned him, "Yo, she's 17." Tana says she and Cody still went and hooked up after Gabby spoke with him.
Oh my gosh, so she knew.
Yeah, so it was knowing. On July 14th, D'Angelo Wallace, a big popular commentary YouTuber, made a video about the situation titled "An Uncomfortable Conversation About Cody Ko." Great video. I suggest people watch it, or recommend that people watch it. Where he just talks about it. He says the allegations should still be looked at and not treated as an open secret and swept under the rug, like you've been doing for so many years now. So he's speaking directly to Cody in that excerpt right there. D'Angelo concluded that Tana and Cody were collaborating around the time of the alleged incident, that there's a hard-to-find clip of Gabby seemingly corroborating Tana's story, and that Cody is currently heavily censoring his YouTube comments. The YouTuber encouraged Cody to address the allegations. So yeah, that clip that he's talking about, I can maybe find it in here, but pretty much it's Gabby Hanna, who is an ex-YouTuber now. She doesn't really do YouTube anymore. But she went on this podcast a long time ago, and she was talking to the other podcast host, and she's telling the story about how this one time she was at this party, and that she had to go up to one of her friends because she saw her friend, who's supposed to be Cody Ko in the situation, kissing some girl, and she's like, "Whoa, what the heck? That girl's underage." So she pulls her friend aside, and she's like, "Hey, that girl's underage, dude. Like, don't kiss her. Like, don't do anything with her anymore." And then the guy who was like, "Oh crap! Like, thank you for telling me. I had no idea," and that he still went and had sex with her later that night.
But she didn't say any names at all.
No, Gabby Hanna didn't say names. People are just like saying that it lines up with the story that Tana gave, because Tana said that Gabby Hanna was the one that like spoke with him right here. She claimed that Gabby Hanna once pulled Cody aside and warned him, which it lines directly with the story that Gabby said. Even though Gabby didn't say like any names, it just lines up like pretty much 1-to-1 with what Gabby said. And then July 19th, Cody Ko does a DJ set. So the only reason why that's here is because it's just saying that he still hadn't responded or said anything about the allegations up to this point. Which
He's still going out and showing his face and doing stuff.
You said what?
I said, but he was still going out and like doing stuff and DJing and not caring about the allegations.
He's just ignoring it.
Yeah, pretty much. He's just ignoring it.
He was just ignoring them because I commented on a channel about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I went back and I read it and it was gone. So
Yeah.
Reading messages about it.
Yeah, he is like actively ignoring it, just like the guy said on his video. Where is it at? He is censoring his comments. Anybody, like, if you go to his most recent YouTube video, there's like no comments about it. But if you go to like his Instagram posts and you you comment there, like, yo, you'll see that there's tons of comments asking him like, you can't, like, respond, say something.
Yeah, so he's obviously aware.
Yeah, 100%. And there's even like, I'm pretty sure she came out and said that, like, Tana said that she had messaged him, or he had messaged her whenever she said this on her live show about the smallest dick or whatever. He messaged her. He's married now. He recently got married, and that he messaged her and he's like, "Hey, I'm married now. Are we cool?" Which is like, a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that leads us to most recently, Cody Ko steps down from his podcast network following allegations that he had sex with an underage influencer. We just read all about that. The post, what is it? Where is this? What is this? Yeah, so this is what the TMG like studios posted.
And
it
that's
says,
his like podcast people, right?
Yeah. Like he pretty much co-founded TMG Studios, but
Okay.
since he stepped down, they came out and said, as we enter into this next phase of the studio, we wanted to let you know that Cody will not be involved in the day-to-day operations at TMG Studios. The post said, what has transpired over the past few weeks is a personal issue for him, and Cody wants to remove any effect this is having on your professional and personal lives and the work you and our other hosts have done to make TMG Studios so successful.
So he got fired or he stepped down?
It seems like he stepped down, but yeah, like it's saying here that like he just wants, like, he's doing it for their sake pretty much. He doesn't want to affect TMG, so he chose to step down. Yeah, and then the co-founder Noel Miller came out and said in the coming weeks the shows will resume. Yeah, so.
Tiny Meat Gang podcast.
Yeah, that's what TMG stands for, Tiny Meat Gang, which goes so hard. So,
she wasn't lying.
Yeah.
He wasn't lying.
Yeah, she kept it a buck. But that was sorry.
This is all word of mouth, right?
Yeah, obviously
like,
these are all like allegations.
I never knew about this until D'Angelo Wallace video.
Yeah, but apparently these were that's why the D'Angelo said in the video, like, and should not be treated as an open secret and swept under the rug, because apparently these allegations have been going around for a long time, but that he never responded, nobody paid it any attention, especially because it's Tana. Like earlier, whenever we said, like, people just don't care because it's Tana. People don't like Tana, so they're like, let's not even, why is this such a big issue? Who cares? It's Tana. So, yeah, but it is, obviously, it is just, like, allegations.
But the way he's responding, like, it just shows more that it isn't just allegations.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, a bunch of people are getting outed as like, groomers and pedophiles and stuff. And the worst part about it is most of them are not outright denying it. They're not making a statement saying, hey, this is all true, not true, this is all fabricated. They're just either being completely quiet or giving a super diplomatic, like...
And that says a lot. It says more than it should.
100%. Yeah. It's just weird not to say something. Like, why would you want that to be, like, associated with you? You know what I mean? But...
Apparently he does.
Yeah, apparently he doesn't care. But that is the most recent development in this that I can find. He just stepped down, and they posted that. So that's pretty much where that ends. But
that's good. I know this was a while ago, but I'm glad he got outed. Like,
I know.
Better late than never. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, I don't want to go on liking a YouTuber and following them and like just like liking them as a person just to know that they were a groomer or a pedophile. I would rather know, sooner than later. I mean, I'm glad she said anything to begin with.
I agree, but like I think one thing that is super important is it's still like, even though I would say that there's a decent amount of evidence, it is all still alleged. There's no like super damning evidence,
right?
And there's no like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if he was to come out and be like, "No, this lady's tweaking. I don't know what she's talking about," like, he would say a lot. But him just completely ignoring it, deleting comments, like.
Yeah, but his silence on it for like however many years.
Yeah, it is definitely like very weird.
Actions speak louder than words.
100%.
Yeah, and it's not like he's super family friendly or something. You can't talk about it. Unlike Mr. Beast or something, like it's different.
Exactly. Yeah.
I give it B2.
B2 better fun.
But speaking of Mr. Beast, Cody Ko is not the only one who is accused of these things. Mr. Beast isn't, but somebody very close to Mr. Beast is, who is Ava Chris Tyson. formerly Chris Tyson. They have been alleged to be a groomer, having sexually charged conversations with minors, even meeting up with the minor at one point. I don't think doing anything like sexual in person, but just being very, very weird. So this is Ava Chris Tyson. I'm sure everybody knows him. Mr. Beast needs no introduction, no nothing. He's the biggest YouTuber on the planet. Along with like his friends group, everybody can recognize him. Everybody knows, and Ava Chris Tyson is no different. It's no, But on July 23rd, internet personality Ava Chris Tyson was accused of grooming a minor named Lava. Lava, I don't think it's the name of the person. I think Lava is just their handle on Twitter.
Yeah.
You said what?
Oh, I just said I'm pretty sure I did Lava.
Their name is Lava?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Lava.
My dog's name.
Tyson, a regular and mega popular YouTuber Jimmy Mr. Beast's channel videos, acknowledged the allegations. This is the most recent, so we'll get to that. But June 13th, groomer accusations surface. In June 2024, investigative journalist and YouTuber Prism42 posted a lengthy video claiming that Ava Chris Tyson was regularly talking to a minor online. The roughly 45-minute long upload went over much of what has been publicly known, including the fact that Tyson befriended Lava when she was in her 20s and he was in his early teens. With the manila folder in front of him, Prism42 displayed screenshots of messages between Tyson and Lava, alleging that Tyson allegedly brought a camper van to meet up with Lava and other details. So that's the start of that. And then from July 26th to the 20th, 2024, a month later, commentary YouTubers Achito and Adrox uploaded their own videos on Ava Chris Tyson. Adrox's video posted on July 16th looked into Tyson's past, examining the internet personality's seemingly public interest in lolicon, Japanese art that typically sexualizes young or young-looking female characters. Though not his first on the internet personality, Achito's July 20 video was a reaction to Adrox's findings, adding commentary about how he doesn't understand the fascination with lolicon art. These videos amplified the allegations against Tyson, leading us to the victim's statement. So, yeah. So I don't know how deep this goes with that in particular, but there has been some like really, really disturbing stuff coming out about Ava in regards to lolicon and stuff like that, and about like CP. Very, very like bad stuff has been coming out. Pretty much there's this artist, quote unquote artist, whose name is Shad Base, who pretty much just draws child porn. That's what they do. That's their thing. They draw it, and what they're most like infamous and notoriously known for is Keemstar,
Drama.
who I'm, do you guys know who like Keemstar is, right? I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. Keems. I think he drew like a photo, like as a lolicon.
Yeah. So pretty much Shad Base drew Keemstar's 8-year-old daughter, pretty much doing unspeakable things to Donald Trump, which was obviously disgusting, evil, and just
what a freak,
crazy. Dude. Yeah, actually like crazy stuff. So that's what he's like most known for, I would think, and obviously him drawing CP. But how Tyson gets roped into this is that I guess she in the past had even like there's talks of like her commissioning art from Shadbase, and in one of Mr. Beast's old videos, actually.
You seen that? Do you have that screenshot on here somewhere? One of your tabs?
I don't. I can probably pull it up.
You should pull it up. It'll pull up immediately as soon as you type it. He's just like staring at it.
Yeah, I wanted to find one that like blurs out the picture because it's clearly a child and it's disgusting.
Right.
You can do it in editing.
Yeah. Mr. Beast, what? Ava, Chris, Tyson, Shadbase? Oh, I hate. Why did I put Shadman in the freaking?
Oh, dude, I don't. Oh, don't
Okay.
open that.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Okay. So
Hey,
thankfully,
you don't have to zoom in. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
Don't move it too much so you can blur it in editing.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it right here. So you can clearly see. Well, not the in edit after editing, but gosh, that's so gross. Anyways, it's
Sick.
it's an old Mr. Beast video. You can see Jimmy here looking at like this is Ava Chris Tyson's room, by the way, and you can see like this is the one that Shadman, who is the CP artist, drew, and just Ava just has it in her room, just on full display in person, hung up on their wall.
Only thing on the wall.
Yeah, only thing on the wall too.
I think he had it in the living room too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the front door right there. It leads outside. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, there. Yeah. So, clearly, just showing that Ava liked Shadman's work, and this was public knowledge. Like publicly, Ava was tweeting out to Shadman, like suggesting him draw certain like underaged, like Disney characters, and just saying like, "Hey man, good work," giving him a little fist bump for his work on drawing CP, pretty much. So really, really awful stuff. Obviously, there's a argument you can make for Lolicon that is like I'm not saying like I agree with it, but there's
people who do that, like they'll argue like, oh, it's drawn, it's not actually an underage child.
Yeah, that it's a victimless crime.
They're freaked, dude.
And nobody's actually getting hurt, and it's stuff like that. I don't agree with it. I think it's terrible, but there are people who do that, and I in the past, I think it's safe to say that Ava was probably like one of them, right? Where it's just like, oh, it's just that's my kind of stuff. I like that, and there's no victim. It's a victimless crime. But
will you go back? I'm sure we all want to see it, but go back to the picture. So before we move on, I want to talk about Mr. Beast's face. A lot of people are like, "Oh, he knew, he's seen it." But if you look, it's not a good picture here, but like you could see, like he's obviously like, "What the fuck is on this guy's wall?"
Yeah.
If you can,
it's not like he was supporting it. I mean, obviously, I don't know. You can just tell by his facial expression. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, I think this is
It was his childhood best friend.
right.
I mean, basically grew up together. I mean, I don't know, man. That's just weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I knew what my childhood best friend was into. I knew that. I mean, if she was a weirdo, I wouldn't have been friends with her. You know what I mean? Like, this is crossing a line, and I feel like even as a teenager, I knew like things like this were crossing a line.
Yeah.
And this guy was what, 20? He was 20.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be like I'm sure he didn't want to just like jump to conclusions and be like, yo, like you're into kids, dog, like what is this, what I'm saying? So like nobody would want to do that. Like nobody want to do that to their friends, just like jump the gun and like confront them about something like that. And Jimmy being like this well-known like nice guy, I'm sure that's like the last thing he would want to do. And you can, I mean, just like
he said anything.
He has said something which we will get to, but I mean, like, look
No,
at
no,
this.
no. I'm talking about this picture on the wall. Because, all right, if I went over to your house, Jared, and you had this picture on your wall, I'd be like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know if he said anything about the picture. I don't know if he has. I don't think he has. But yeah, but like you were saying, like looking at his face, this is the face of like, what is this? What am I looking at?
Yeah.
Like why? But anyways, awful stuff. Gosh, that's so gross. Anyways, just wanted to put that out because I don't know if I don't think they speak about it here. But July 22nd, 2024, Lava denies the accusation, saying he's not a victim. Video editor Lava, the minor Tyson was talking to, came forward with a statement on X, Twitter, posting several tweets. Maybe we can pull it up. Yeah, it's right here. Several tweets denying the accusations against Tyson, saying that the internet personality never did anything wrong and just made a few edgy jokes. Ultimately concluded that he was never exploited, taken advantage of, expressing that he is not a victim. What is this? This is the same thing. Okay, so I'm guessing this one is... Yeah, so this is what he says first. Can you guys help me counter all these lies? Chris's messages to me were sent in public Discord server/groups, but everyone is framing it as if it was a one-on-one. Chris literally did nothing wrong. And the next tweet says, I'm not a victim, and I am not backpedaling any statements I have already made. Everything I have stated is still very true. Nothing bad happened between me and Chris. People are creating lies around my name. Yesterday, while under a lot of stress from trying to get my story out as quickly as possible, I made a mistake and included 2 videos in a tweet that had nothing to do with my situation. Here are the correct videos, and these ones should be taken down. I apologize. Okay. But,
Wait, what? What is going on?
what do you mean?
Isn't it the person that was... Didn't they come out and say, hey, Chris Tyson...
No,
they did.
this person didn't come out and like with these allegations. YouTubers came out. YouTubers like did their own investigations and brought these things to light.
Wow. So this was a public Discord server?
Yeah, it was a public Discord server. It was public tweets too. I don't think these have any of the screenshots, but it's some like pretty awful, like disgusting stuff. Like Ava or Chris at the time was speaking with Lava, calling Lava, who was at the time like a 14-year-old, daddy and stuff, making jokes, quote unquote jokes.
Okay. Yeah, they had like a group of them in one Discord, right? There was like a few minors.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And
I thought it was DMs.
No, yeah, he also had an NSFW bot that would just spam porn.
yeah, and
okay.
at one time, Chris made a joke, quote unquote joke, to Lava, pretty much insinuating that he had sent him nudes, and stuff like that. And I'm gonna just say real quick, I'm gonna be brave here. No need for applause. No, I'm no hero, but I'm gonna give a little bit of a hot take. Regardless of what the victim says, an adult should never have a relationship and make these sorts of jokes with a minor. Full stop.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how much, I don't know how much if it sounds bad, but like I would say a victim wouldn't really like recognize if they're being groomed, right? Like that's kind of like the whole process of like grooming. So like him coming out and being like, no, I wasn't groomed, even though if you look at the messages and everything, you were being groomed, man. Like, I'm sure it's tough to like wrap your head around and stuff, but this is awful stuff. No adult should have this conversation or this kind of like relationship and joke telling to any minor of any, like under any circumstances should this be allowed or should this be looked at and be like underplayed. This is awful. It's disgusting. This shouldn't happen.
Right. And like at the same time, if you're putting yourself in the Lava shoes, like he was a teenager, he's with one of his idols, he thinks this guy is really awesome, really cool. I mean, he's super trustworthy. He's super funny and edgy. You know what I mean? In his head, he might have been having the time of his life and he might have just been really good, close friends with him. But like, I'm assuming as he's getting older, he can't see like, oh, in hindsight, that might have been a little weird.
Yeah.
He might have just been like, I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything bad. I remember it was super fun.
Yeah, like it was just a good time. I was talking with Mr. Beast. I was working for Mr. Beast. I was the people that I look up to. I'm literally working for them, and I'm speaking to them on a day-to-day basis. No way.
Why would you bite the hand that fed you?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly. Like why? Not even like biting the hand that feeds you. Like why would this person that I look up to and that I'm friendly with be secretly doing these evil, awful things to me? There's no way. Yeah,
it was all a joke in the end.
Right, like. I wish I had the things pulled up, but it is some like disturbing like tweets and jokes that Chris was making, and even if they're like jokes, what is like it's not funny, it's weird, it's a child. Go ahead.
If you go to Keemstar's Twitter page, he had everything in like a thread.
Let me see.
I mean, he was 20, right?
He was 20, 21, yeah.
That's still a weird thing to do in your 20s.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going around posting porn on Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is what... a third of all the weird things Chris Tyson allegedly said in the Discord with minors, alright? She's only 14. So, Chris, I'm guessing, is Chris Tyson. She is only 14, ... damn. With a link, with a picture. What is that?
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh, what did you think she was? 16 and legal in some states. If she's 14, I'm 14. Yeah, very funny joke. A 20-year-old is making. Oh, in a Discord with minors.
Yeah.
Sent to
Um,
Shad base.
Shad base. Yep.
This
Oh
is
my
like
God.
grooming 101, overexposing them to porn, overexposing them to these disgusting like creators, overexposing them to overly
You're
sexual things at a
desensitizing
young
this
age.
stuff.
Yeah.
This is like textbook grooming right here.
100%. And then I'm guessing one of the minors literally refers to Chris as Lolly God.
Wait, go back
I'm
up.
missing.
Who said yes? It's me. Oh, never mind.
Oh. Chris says, and that's where you're wrong, kiddo. Bruh, I just make my own season salt out of the tears of children on Discord. Chris goes on to say, I just eat the children. Nice. Chris Tyson allegedly describing an anime plot sexualizing a high school girl. I got this new anime plot. Basically, there's this high school girl, except she's got huge boobs. I mean, some serious honkers. A real set of badonkers. Packing some whatever.
Alright.
Transfer student shows up with even bigger boobs. And yeah. Very funny, I guess. It's just sexualizing children. Chris Tyson alleged response to a request to delete an NSFW channel because there were minors in the Discord. I don't have any issue with the channel. What I have is with minors that have access to said channel. W guy right here, by the way, Brooke the mom. W, Chris the meme god. Chris, is there even a way to do that? Not really. No. So what do? Lol, remove it. No, people like it, even if there's a way anyone can lie about their age out of FAO. Yeah, true, and I mean, to be fair, the internet is full of porn. Discord says...
Yeah, so might as well just over...
Yeah, what a non-argument, okay? Discord says that if you can't regulate it, don't have one. It's the responsibility of the server owner to prevent minors from viewing pornographic materials. Fair? Yeah. What am I, a parent? Lol. I say we get rid of it because of the fan base of Beast and Chris are mostly under 18. W people, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. These people have like a conscience.
Does Chris Tyson pee on her phone? Chris, waterproof phone gang with the photo. We only worship Jesus or Jeebus around here. Challenge accepted the God. Oh yeah, daddy. Minors, by the way. Chris, that's a lot of moisturizer. All right. Allegedly Chris Tyson role playing sexually. Okay, anyways, we got the idea. This is awful stuff that you shouldn't joke around with minors, and that you should by 20 you should already understand that this is kind of with people around you telling you, yo, this is bad. So, July 23rd, 2024, Ava Chris Tyson permanently steps away from all things Mr. Beast. So, Tyson made a public statement regarding Lava and all the allegations against her on July 23rd, taking to X, Twitter, for the first time after recently scrubbing her account clean. Which, by the way, she did this, like, almost immediately. Whenever these allegations came out, she, like, almost immediately scrubbed her account clean. By the way, for people who don't know, whenever you, like, delete your X account, all the DMs are no longer, like, accessible. So if there were like more people who were victims and stuff, you can't go back and like look through the DMs because they deactivated the account. But wait, maybe that's not what she did, because it just says scrubbing her account clean. Then she must have reactivated it to post this, right? But I know that that's something that is a thing, by the way.
They're probably talking about like going back and deleting most of those.
Yeah, maybe.
'Cause I know they would tweet like, even Mr. Beast had some weird tweets, man.
True. Yeah.
I think the worst tweet I ever saw, it was like a super old one, and it was from Chris, like a really long time ago, and it was like, I don't know, I think you guys have seen it. It's like, what really gets my knob cranking
Is
is
some lolicon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he's obviously into it. He's still with Mr. Beast. I mean, I just don't see how his best friend could still keep him in his videos, like still hang around children. Like, as soon as I hear that, yo, my friend's being a little sus about kids, he's making a little too weird jokes. He's stepping over the line a little bit.
Mhm.
No, I'm done with that person. And
He
that's-
has-
You go over to his house and it's on the wall.
Yeah. He has some like weird.
It's not a joke anymore.
Like that is next level like weird. Like not only are you like
There's a
saying
line,
weird.
there's a
Yeah,
line.
you not only are you saying weird stuff online and stuff, you went as far as to like print out a giant picture of like a child, and put it on your wall in the living room. That's like you're like sick in the head.
Being blatant. You're just being a blatant creep.
Disturbing.
Yeah, but this is Ava Chris Tyson's statement. I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things Mr. Beast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. Let me just say, before anybody says anything, what a non-apology. What, like actually saying nothing. Sorry that I got caught. Pretty much.
It's not addressing the allegations either.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I offended you that I'm a pedophile.
Sorry.
Am I gonna change?
Sorry
No.
if it offended or hurt anybody. If it did. Who knows? I don't know. Who cares?
Not sorry. Not no. This isn't true. Not. I have a wicked, terrible sense of humor. Nothing.
Yeah. It's so stupid. The next thing is just like streamers react to the accusations.
We don't need to.
Yeah, we don't need to. There was like some things with Moist Critical. Moist Critical was like a big talking point for some reason. Sneeko,
Right. Yeah, I saw that.
Sneeko, for some reason, went on his stream, called out Moist Critical and some other streamers about not having the same energy that he had for that Moist Critical had for Dr. Disrespect, because whenever the Dr. Disrespect stuff happened, Moist Critical made a video. I think like the day after this stuff came out, talking about it. And he called out. He's like, "Why don't you have the same energy?" Moist Critical responded, just saying like, he did talk about it on stream, and Charlie's like known to do these things where he just like waits for more information to come out, which he did for Dr. Disrespect, because Dr. Disrespect made a statement, and that's whenever Charlie made a video, and then Charlie posted a video pretty much the next day of the Ava Chris Tyson stuff, anyways. So it's just a stupid thing. But
Real quick, I want to say something.
yeah.
With the Dr. Disrespect thing, he went out and said, "Yes, I did it. I'm sorry." Right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, that's enough evidence for him to make a video about. But when you have Chris not saying anything, or like giving like a half-ass apology, that like you can't make a video of that. You can't, because you don't know if it's true, or you don't have enough. Like, you don't want to like say something and
I think
it's
he was
wrong.
waiting for the response. I think
Yeah.
the response didn't come out yet.
Yeah, like it's just having some like, I don't know, like just waiting
Basis.
for information to come out.
Both sides argument.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to be on the other side too. Like, if I was in his situation and I had a video with the same people I'm talking shit about, I would wait to post the video too. I would wait too. So I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, that's why people are like, "Oh, he waited because he had the a Mr. Beast video like coming up."
Yeah, I mean, that is something that people were talking about. The argument that people made, that like, oh, he's not talking. That's what the argument that Sneeko made. He's like, oh, he's not saying anything because he wants the Mr. Beast collab. And Charlie himself even goes on the video that he made. He goes on to say that like, it's not his first time like talking about people that he's worked with before, and he brings up the Cody Ko situation that he also made a video on, where like Charlie went on like Cody Ko's podcast at one time, and all these other like numerous examples of like Charlie speaking about awful things people did, even though like he knows them or he's gone and done stuff with them before. It's just like I think it really was just like waiting for more information to come out.
Yeah.
You don't want to jump the gun in it being just completely false, right? And then now you look like a bad guy for coming out and reporting on it.
Especially him, because he gets so many views on his video. Like, he has to be right.
Exactly. Yeah, he has to be careful.
Because he
with what
didn't
posts.
say something immediately, he got so much hate for it.
Yeah, it's stupid.
He's not gonna comment on it at all. It's because he posted a small clip of it. It was a 4-minute clip,
Mhm.
just kind of going over what he thought about it. And the next day he was gonna make a full length video, but everyone thought that was just
That was it.
full stop. Like, that's his
Yeah.
reaction. And he didn't make a full video like he did with Dr. Disrespect. And he was like, in the video, he was like, well, now I have to divert the topic from the terrible things that Ava did. Now I have to talk about you guys throwing hate on me for, like, you know, saying I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to talk about it just because I want to collab with Mr. Beast. Like, no, I don't know her. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But he did. I mean, he dropped it. He dropped 2 videos.
yeah. But that's a whole bunch of like just nothing. It was stupid arguments being made. But on July 4th, I think the most recent development is Mr. Beast made a statement, and he goes on to say, over the last few days, I'll just open up the full tweet itself. Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. During that time, I have been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online to take an immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with Mr. Beast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their findings.
Okay, notice how he's pretty blatantly saying that he fired Ava, right?
Yeah, and then they said they stepped down.
Yeah. So, I think Ava was trying to like get ahead of like, you can't fire me, I quit. But yeah, I think this is like the best choice, right? Hiring like a third party who's like not involved with you guys to investigate. And yeah, like obviously like firing Ava pretty much while this is being investigated. I think that's a good choice to make.
It's the best decision, yeah. I mean, whether it's for the public or not, I mean, I feel like as soon as you hear this, you're like, yo, you can't hang around with us. You're not like us. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, true. Especially like he knows his demographic. Like it's children who are watching him.
Yeah.
So
Kendrick had it on the dot.
Yeah.
99 million views on that, by the way. It's crazy.
That's freaking wild.
He's so famous, dude. That's fucking crazy.
There's actually some stuff that I guess Mr. Beast was in that server too. And
Was he actually like the very first one?
What do you mean?
Like the one where he was like all these screenshots of that Discord server. He was in that server?
Yeah, so it says right here, Mr. Beast and Chris Tyson Discord leaks, and then right here under confirmed to be Mr. Beast. It has officially been proven that Mr. Beast's account in Chris's server was actually Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast. So it is confirmed to be Mr. Beast, I guess. I'm trying to pull up the thing, but I guess we don't need to. You can kind of see it, right? Here, Mr. Beast. Somebody says, no, he's not. And this is talking about Chris Tyson's dick size, I guess. No, he's not. His penis isn't big enough. I know. Mr. Beast goes on to say, no, I know his penis size, and it's huge. Beast, are you gay? Whatever. Chris goes and say, haha, Mr. Beast joins in to comment on my penis size. I love it. So,
He's so uncomfortable.
yeah, pretty much like, it's just like I would say it's a harmful joke, right? It's just like a little gay joke, whatever. But the problem is it's in a Discord server with minors.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. You don't like why it's a weird joke. There's minors in the group chat or in the Discord. You don't joke about that. Like you don't do that.
I'm surprised that's not bigger. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. So that and then
Because
there's
he's also being implemented in that Discord, and he's also talking about inappropriate things, and there's obviously minors texting back. Like,
yeah,
that's weird.
it is weird. So there's that. And then this is the most recent thing with Chris Tyson, where Chris Tyson's alleged sister says, "I'm a sibling." Take this with a grain of salt, right? Yes, I use the correct pronoun. Told me that he got fully aroused when he secretly stole my female clothes and put them on. He's deluded and disturbed, and it's 100% a fetish. He's narcissistic, and professionals have told him he needs a full psych evaluation.
So is his sister?
Allegedly his sister.
Okay, well,
So there's that. That's kind of like nothing, but it's there. But yeah, that's. I think we're caught up with that. That's the last thing that happened. Mr. Beast made a statement, and then what I just read. It's just like it's crazy how influencers just can't stop talking to minors.
Dude, I feel like every month there's a new like, accusation coming out of a big YouTuber or pedophile.
Yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure I've like made this joke with like you guys before, but it's like it's almost like a rite of passage, right? Where like you can't become a giant influencer without having interacted with minors inappropriately in the past or are currently doing it. Like, it's like you in order to become a big influencer, you have to do that. It's so wild. Like, this should be the
And it
easiest.
sucks, dude. Like it gives them such a like, especially Minecraft YouTubers. Like it just gives
Oh
them
yeah,
such a bad rap,
Yeah,
man.
so they're already pedophiles, but then once they have the audience and like influence of hundreds of thousands of kids, it's so easy for them just to text one.
yeah. Like, this should be the easiest thing, like the easiest slam dunk to just be
Yeah,
like,
dude.
this is something I shouldn't do, right? Whenever a minor texts you, the most easy thing, like if whenever they're like, hey, I'm 13 or I'm underage, whatever, the easiest thing to do is like, oh, I'm not gonna like build a relationship with this person. I think it's fine to like respond and be like, hey, thanks for being a fan, cool, that's it. But if you like,
Right, keep it professional. Like not even a friendship.
Yeah.
I even think a friendship is weird.
yeah,
Yeah, keep it like professional.
Yeah,
if you're
just-
these people.
100%. Like, if you're an influencer and a minor texts you, like, I think it's okay to be like, if they were like, hey, great video, I think it's okay to be like, hey, thanks. That's it. There doesn't need to be
Yeah.
What
more.
was that meme you sent the other day? It's like we need to entertain them, not like
Not have sex with them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like Minecraft
Them.
YouTubers is like, what the no.
In that one, it's like, oh, you made it, you're famous. What are you gonna do now? I'm gonna go text kids. Like, oh,
Yeah.
no.
It's awful, man. Like, obviously, like, there's a power dynamic, right? Like, even without influence, like being an influencer, right? Like, just the power dynamic of like being an adult and them being a
being an
child.
adult,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
knowledgeable, being bigger, having more life experience, Any adult, whenever I was a teenager, any adult I looked up to, any adult at all, because they've had more life experience, they know more, you think
Right.
they're smart, you look up to them, especially if they're a creator. Like you can't use that against them. You can't like put yourself in that situation, dude. Like that's weird.
Yeah, and like whenever you're not an influencer, you don't really have that like power of like hanging over your influence over them. You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, like you're so special for being able to talk to me, this big influencer, or like, oh, like if you try to come out with this, I'm gonna have my hundreds of millions of fans come
Literally.
to you. It's like,
Or no one will believe you.
right, yeah, and like it's like I don't understand how these influencers can't like whenever I speak to, like, let's say I go to church and there's like little, because there's like children at church, right? And they come up to me, they're talking to me. Whenever I'm like talking to them, there's like very little I can speak to them about because they're children, because there's nothing to speak to them about, right? They come up to me, they're like, oh, making all these like stupid jokes, and like I laugh, but like I can't joke with them because it's like there's nothing to speak about. I can't have like an actual conversation with one of these children because there's nothing that we can relate to. They
As
don't.
an adult,
they-
you
like,
don't even want to, like
I don't think. Okay, I don't think, like, to be fair, I don't think we should be. I don't think it's like it should be so cutthroat to where like once any minor comes up and talks to you or like messages you, it's like, well, the sirens go off and it's like, no, don't talk to me, you're a kid. It shouldn't be like that. You should just have the common decency to be like, I'm not attracted to this kid. I'm not gonna be weird with this kid. You can talk to. I think it's fine to talk.
It's not, it's not even that. It's
like been around a child and ever had a sexual thought like get in my brain. Never
Right.
once, ever. Like
Never.
never have I ever wanted to bring up a weird topic. Never have I ever wanted to make a sexualized joke. Like that has never in my life crossed my mind. So
Right.
it's super like we find it funny because it's unfathomable
Mhm.
that an adult would do that. Like it's like common sense to us. But then for creeps and like wicked people, they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, let me exploit this." You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is just like there's no reason to like make it so cutthroat to where it's like you can't even like speak to them like at all. I think it's fine, right? But it's just don't be like. It's just I guess it's easier for me, right? Because it's like I don't look at children and I'm not like
yeah, that's exactly what I'm about to say. Like, if a kid approaches me and said something, I'm gonna talk back to him, but I know how to talk back to him because I'm obviously not fucking attracted to them and not trying to flirt with them or anything like that.
Yeah, because like the moment I learn that the person I'm talking to, well, pretty much you can like tell, right? But let's say like somebody messages me and they tell me like, hey, I'm underage. Immediately it's like, okay, all these stuff that like I could possibly talk about, immediately throw it out the window. I'm not talking to them about. It's just like, normal responses. They're like, hey, what's up? It's like, hey, hi, that's it. It doesn't have to, there's no need for me as an adult to build a relationship with this person. It could just be like one-off conversations, and that's it. Cut it off, right? Because once you learn that this person is a minor, there's no reason for you to build a relationship with them at all, under any circumstance, full stop. That's how it is. And I think, like, obviously, like, as an influencer, like, that should just be, like, something that is just, like, drilled into your head, especially because you're an influencer and you have all these people. Like, I just don't understand, like, bro, you are gonna get caught. These kids aren't gonna, like, hold this, like, once they grow up, hopefully they're gonna understand that, like, holy crap, I was talking to this adult, and they're gonna come out with it. Like, you can't, yeah, like, I just don't understand how you're like, oh, I'm gonna be sexual with this kid, and then stop, and then think, oh yeah, I just got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, man. Eventually, you're gonna get caught.
You'll catch up to you.
Yeah, so it makes no sense to do these things, because it's like you're gonna get caught. And so
it's not just influencers, it's how any adult.
Yeah, no, not just influencers. 100%. It's any adult. It's stupid. I was just bringing up influencers because it's easier for them to get caught. You know what I mean? Because, like, the internet information passes, like, instantaneously, and it's with something like this, right? Like, if you just come out and you're like, hey, here's proof of me talking to Mr. Beast and well, maybe not Mr. Beast, I don't know, but like Ava, right? and they're talking to me whenever I was a minor and they know and stuff. Obviously, like, it's easier online for an influencer because they have, like, hundreds of people who, like, look up to them, and there's hundreds more people who are looking to, like, bring them down anyway. So even if I, like, came out with, like, false allegations, it's gonna blow up because it's an influencer. That's why I brought up influencers, because I think it's easier to, like, it would be easier for something like that to kind of, like, stick. But yeah, I mean, it's awful, evil stuff. Obviously, these are all allegations. As much as we may want to, like, we may think or feel a certain way that it's, like, purely one-sided and it's 100% true, for legal reasons, it is allegations. That's just the fact of the matter. It's allegations.
Innocent until proven guilty.
100%. Yeah. I mean, and I do strongly believe in that anyways. So,
at very least, he is definitely a predator. He definitely is a groomer. I don't know whether or not he's done things. That's none of my business. I don't really care. I really don't even want to know. Mm-hmm. But at very least, he is 100% a groomer. I mean, that's
at very least, he interacted with minors.
At worst, he's a pedophile. At best, he is an adult who acted incredibly inappropriately with children, interacted with them awfully, and that should have not been done.
No matter what way you spin it, it's just terrible.
Yeah.
He's an awful person.
Yeah. My last thing that I want to talk about, which is kind of like a deviation a little bit, but that I guess kind of links in. It's about Moist Critical. So I don't know if you guys saw, but Moist Critical and Sneeko had a little bit of a debate, like 2 days ago, I think, or yesterday was it? I don't know.
Oh, that happened? I didn't think that happened yet.
Yeah, they had a debate, and now let me just go on and say I'm a big Moist Critical fan. I watched like probably like an hour or two of it, and I had to stop. It is just from both sides. The reason why I'm saying I'm a big Moist Critical fan is I just wanted to start off with that, right? But no matter how much of a fan I am, Moist Critical had an L take, very bad take, and from both sides, it was just an awful debate, just stupid take from both sides, and I want to talk about it just because I want to get your guys' input, and obviously everybody else's, like, you know. But pretty much what they were, Moist Critical went on to debate with Sneeko, and because in one of Moist Critical's video, he calls out like Sneeko for like making some really weird arguments. So Sneeko has been arguing most recently has been like arguing against, not like he's been arguing, just against the age of consent pretty much. He's saying that like if a child wants to get married, right? Whenever a child feels like they're mentally mature or they're grown enough, they should be able to marry an adult because they feel like they're an adult now. If a child feels like they're an adult, and they should be able to marry. That's Sneeko's whole argument, pretty much. Which, obviously, none of us are going to entertain. It's a stupid argument. It makes no sense. The age of consent is there because for moral reasons, it just makes the most sense. It is there because that is the age that society has deemed correct for a person to be deemed as an adult and to make these like life altering decisions. It sticks because it works. That's it.
It's not just like the law. It's also like scientifically. Like your brain is developed by that age, and you should know how to treat other people.
Yeah, and like Sneeko makes a weird argument of like, no, everybody's brain is fully developed at the age of 25, which is true. And so like, why isn't it 25? And he like brings up all these like, he's like, if the government changes the law to like, if they change it to like 25, right? The age of consent is 25. Then is everybody who was 18 having sex with, like, anybody older than 25 having sex with 18-year-old, are they now pedophiles? Stupid stuff like that. There's no reason to entertain it. It's a dumb argument. But that is like what Charlie was debating Sneeko about. And then Sneeko asks Charlie this question. Let me see if I can pull up the clip. Because I know Drama Alert posted it.
I hate Sneeko. He's so stupid.
Sneeko is so fucking annoying.
Did y'all see him spar Sean Strickland?
Yeah.
I go back and watch that all the time. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this again.
Let me re-humble him.
It's so funny, dude.
It was great.
Where is it? Okay, right here.
Go through hormone therapy.
Just listen.
Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting, as you agree with.
Okay, so as long as everyone...
If your parents are okay with it and you are okay with it, I think that's totally a familial decision to make, yeah.
Okay, so a child can cut their penis off and take hormone blockers and change their biology forever, but they can't get married?
Well, that's a decision that now extends beyond the family, because now you're bringing in a different party. So if you have someone that's your age coming in saying, I want to marry that child, I don't think that can happen under any circumstance.
So,
no.
But it's still a personal decision. You're still deciding. Because take the other party out of the equation. It's a personal decision. If I'm 16 and I personally want to marry this girl, she's beautiful. She's 21 years old. Her family wants to do it. My family wants to do it. You're saying I can't do that. We're both consenting. I'm ready to go. I'm physically mature, but I'm not allowed to marry because Moy says that woman's a pedophile. But if then the next day I leave it, I'm depressed, I want to cut my penis off, I can go right into the clinic, snip it off, and start taking HRT like Chris Tyson. That's a society that makes sense to you?
It is. I believe everyone has I believe everyone has the right to do with their body what they want to do.
So, let me just say real quick.
What's your take on that question? That question alone.
Okay, so I think no, right? Okay, so let me. Okay, so I think it's okay. So at the age of like 16, right? Let's use the age that like Sneeko asked the question in. The age of 16. I think if a child is like, hey, I want to transition, and I'm transgender. I am like, if it's a biological male, and they're like, I'm a woman now. I want to transition to a female, and they just make that decision itself, right? I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. You can do that. But I think whenever it comes to life-altering decisions, such as a surgery, where you cut off your what is it called? Oh my gosh, what is it called to like cut off your? Huh?
Castrate.
Castrate? No, like a phallio.
Yeah, no, castrate, like self-castration, right? Well, not self-castration, but whenever you like want to make a decision to like castrate yourself and like do this surgery to where like you become a woman, right? I think you should not be able to make such a life-altering decision like that whenever you are under the age of 18. I think if it's like, hey, mom and dad, I am thinking about like wanting to transition and stuff, and I think I'm a woman and I want to do that. My brain feels like I'm a woman and I want to be a woman because I am a woman, right? Stuff like that. I think it's okay to make the decision. I think that's fine, right? But to make such a huge decision, like getting the surgery done and doing that, should absolutely not be okay. Regardless if the parents consent to that and stuff, I think that is a dangerous thing to do, and the parents should be looked at and kind of investigated. I just like the same as like if a child is like at 16 is like, hey, I want to go get married, you wouldn't be like, okay, yeah, go. No.
What if your kid came up to you like and he was 16 and he was like, hey, I'm gonna get a neck tattoo? What would you say?
Well, you can't legally get a tattoo until you're like 18, right?
Can't get a neck
You
tattoo.
can with your parents' consent at most places.
Well, I think that's up to the parents, right? I think that's kind of like different. That's not like a.
I guess, but it's permanent.
Yeah.
It is permanent. Like,
And what my answer to that,
Okay.
anything permanent would just
Well-
be wait till you're 18.
yeah. Let me say something. Yeah. Let me say exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
with something so life altering that is like permanent, such as like that surgery, I would say wait until you're 18, because by then you're an adult. You make your own decisions. I legally cannot stop you. That's for you to make. And if you want to make the decision to regret later, go get that tattoo, right? So, but for me, like, I'd probably be like, hey, wait until you're 18. Because it's permanent. It's such a life-altering decision. But I think whenever it comes to like being transgender and stuff, and a child feels like they want to transition, I think that's fine. Make that decision. Do that. Start making those changes in your life, but not such a change as big as that. And that's why I was saying, like, you wouldn't allow a child to get married at 16 because you know that they aren't like mentally ready for that. That is such a huge commitment and change that happens in their life. They can't even begin to fathom that change, such as be like cutting off your genitals and changing that, because you can't take that back. That's almost like that's more permanent than getting married, because you can divorce and stuff, but you can't just like get your genitals back. So
Yeah.
like I 100% disagree with you. I think that's a terrible take to be like, yeah, if a kid wants to like get that changed, do that. They want to get that surgery, do that. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I could just like if my kid came up to me and they were 16, I'd be like, you know what? You could wait 2 years and make that decision on your own. I'm not gonna go and do it for you. Not do it for you, but like be able
Like,
to.
sign
Like
off
you're
on
the
it.
reason it's happening. Yeah, you'd sign off on it.
Yeah. Sarah?
Well, you just said it. I mean, you said exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah. I think like
I think your take is the exact same as mine.
yeah, I
Well,
think
that's
like-
different. I'm gonna agree.
All in agreement.
Yeah.
now I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I think Charlie was right.
I think we should bump it down to 14. You know what?
I think age of
Oh,
consent. All right, no, never mind. I'm not
Okay,
gonna go.
no,
I'm not gonna go.
that's
I'm not gonna
Oh,
go.
this episode is crazy.
I'm not doing Sneeko's take. that's just
No,
a
like
stupid.
what you said for sure. Like if my child is not feeling comfortable in their body and they're feeling very body dysmorphic or gender dysmorphic, okay, I'm completely in support of you presenting as something else. That is totally fine with me. Like, express yourself how you want to express yourself. I'm not going to be there to put you in a box. You know what I mean? You're my child. I love you.
Right.
Whether it's a friend, whether it's a relative, I don't care. But like you said, I mean, like, the law's there for a reason. You're physiologically, like, mentally, like, you're not fully developed. You cannot fully even make your personality, let alone make these decisions about your body. Like, I completely understand where you're coming from, Jared, and like, I'm so quiet because I had nothing to add, because you kind of said to a T like what I believe in too. Like, if you're 18 and you want to make this decision, I want you to know all the risks. I want you to know you can't take this back on, and I want you to know that this is completely permanent. And I want you to sit with that for a little bit, and then until you're 18, and if you decide to do that, you decide to do that. That's totally fine. And I wish that's what Moist said. But instead he said, no, you can't get married at 16 because that's way too young and you can't make those decisions.
But you can have that surgery.
Yeah, but you can have a life-altering surgery and cut your penis off or whatever at this very, very young age. Because I'm assuming in that clip, it doesn't seem like he fully thought about it, because that is a good question. I mean, I don't like Sneeko, but that is a good question, like, to ask him.
Yeah, to be fair, Moist Critical, here, there's this other clip where Moist Critical kind of like, he says that like he kind of misunderstood.
Yeah, I was about to ask, how long is this? This debate? How long was
It's
the
like
debate?
3 hours.
Okay, and I'm sure they're just asking questions.
Yeah. Okay.
left
So
and right,
to be
right?
fair, Sneeko is like the most annoying person to talk to. It is absolutely frustrating. Like Sneeko will ask something, Most Critical will try to respond, and then in the middle of Most Critical response, Sneeko will be like, okay, but what about this? What about this? And it's like, dude,
Like me with my would you
Would you rather? Yeah.
yeah, but it's like the most person you would like, the most annoying person you would want to have a debate with, because it's not a debate. It's just like Sneeko's like style of debate, I guess. I'm not like a debate specialist, I don't know, but like he like asks you something, and then like before you can even get your answer off, he switches it so fast, and then it's like he asks you so much questions like back to back to back that it's like it's almost like hard to really get what he's trying to ask.
Inside of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's continuously altering it to get the answer that he wants, or to make him look stupid and confused.
Yeah, it's just a lot of like bombarding you and not letting you like actually give a response, and then like whenever you kind of get off guard and like fumble yourself, that's whenever he asks like a hard hitting question, and you're just like, whoa, like I don't it's this, because you want to like be able to keep up with him, but he just speaks so much nonsense, and then mixes in a little bit of like, what about this?
Because he doesn't want your opinion. He just wants your reaction to his opinion. That's what it is.
That is why I hate like modern like debates, because it's like it's not about like understanding each other's beliefs or whatever. It's about like you want to forcefully change their opinion without like and so but this is Most Critical. Most Critical broke down last night on stream following his debate with Sneeko. I'm pretty sure he says that he misunderstood, but here's this.
You can get therapy. You can go through the process of making that decision. I thought that's what it was. I thought he was just speaking in hyperbole with the dick cutting off shit. I thought that's what we were talking about. And then if you decide that's the path you want to take, it is your body. You can do that. You can make that decision once you become of age to make a decision like that. I just don't understand how it got so muddled. Half of the fucking conversation was hyperbole, and apparently that one was literal. Or it's a very malicious attack on what I'm trying to say, or misunderstanding. I don't know. But I think I'm just going to call it there.
Yeah, then he ends stream like 10 minutes after that. Yeah, I mean, like, and to be fair, I would go back and like pull it up, but it's literally like a 3-hour stream. I'm not gonna like pull that up. Like, to be fair, I watched like that part where he got asked that question, and it did really seem like Most Critical didn't really get the question. I'm not like just kind of like glazing Most Critical here. I'm really not. It's just like
I feel the same way.
Yeah, it really just seemed like he misunderstood, because like I remember like watching it. Even whenever I watched it, I remember like at that part I was like, that makes sense why Charlie would say that, because I would have gotten like mixed up in that too. Like it was just a whole bunch of like bleh, and then Charlie was like, okay, let me get something out. And so, and I think it's fair to be like, I misunderstood, because like he said, that whole conversation was just like, okay, but what if you're 14 and this person's 25 and they want to get married, and this? It's just a bunch of like hyperbole, like he said. So, but if he didn't get it and he's just backpedaling, it's a bad take. It's an awful take. I think that's not something that should be allowed.
I mean, I've seen it more as
stop talking about children and leave them alone, dude. That man's a grown man. Stop talking about 14 and 16-year-olds getting married, dude.
yeah. But it seemed like Charlie, like, it was more of a correction than backpedaling. So
yeah, that's why I feel like, and whenever you look at the debate itself, you kind of get that sentiment too, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think. But to that like take in general, to that like question, I 100% like disagree. Where it's like, if you're 16, you should be able to make that decision. Like, no, 100% not. Like, just like I think like with sexuality, right? Whenever you're 16, you 100% know what you're sexually attracted to. And I like just like whenever you're 16, you wouldn't tell a 16-year-old like, hey, you think you're bi? No, you gotta wait until you're 18 to really figure out that, you gotta wait until you make a decision like that. Right?
Yeah.
Like you can like I think you can allow a child to like make a decision like that, just like, hey, I feel like I want to be a woman now. Like I think it's okay to let them make kind of decisions like that, but if it's like an life altering decision that you can't really take back, absolutely not.
Exactly. You can, if you're gonna change your body for 60 years, you can wait 2 years. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like there's just no reason to do it as a child.
Yeah. agreed. But yeah, that was pretty much the last thing I had. It was, I just saw this clip, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I watched the debate, and it was just a bunch of like stupidness back to back. And I was like, oh my, I don't even want to watch it. I didn't finish it. I couldn't finish it. It was just
I have a
bad.
question for like group.
You guys both spoke. I don't know what.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, babe. I had nothing.
I was gonna say I have a question for the group.
Yeah.
So, how strongly do you guys feel about like your child's like gender identity or your own? Because I know that there's controversy going around about like parents not giving their kids a girl or boy name, calling them they, not giving them necessarily pronouns when they grow up, and they're raising them that way so they can pick their gender when they get older because they feel very strongly about like wanting them to pick their gender and their
I'll
identity.
answer this.
How strongly do you feel about that?
Yeah, I can give my take too, but you go ahead, Zach.
If it's a boy, I'm gonna give him a boy name. If it's a girl, I'm gonna give them a girl name. If they want to change that name when they get older, they can. If they want to change their identity, if they want to change anything, they can when they're 18.
Valid.
Yeah.
I mean, you are their parent. I mean,
With their kids,
I'm gonna raise my kid until he's 18 or she's 18, and then they can do whatever they want.
valid. Nation?
Yeah, they don't know anything, so yeah.
Like it's your job to teach them what the world is, pretty much, like who they are.
You shouldn't make it like give that. You shouldn't allow them to get surgery that would alter their life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying necessarily like surgery. I'm saying like, would you raise your kids as a he, she, or do you feel strongly about like gender identity in the sense that you would raise them to be like, okay, well, your name is like Kai, for instance. It's not a girl name. It's not a boy name. It's just a gender neutral name. I'm calling you they, instead of calling you he or she until you grow up and decide that on your own.
Raise them as he or she.
Okay. For me, I think, for like my kid, like, and I kind of want to like delve into like, I guess kind of deeper, but not. I don't want to like phrase it that way to seem like pretentious. But for me, I would raise my kid to like be the gender that they are. That like if they're born biologically a male, I'm gonna raise them to be a male, and then by like Zach said, if 18 they choose to kind of change that, I think that's totally fine. I think it's the responsibility of a parent. I think like just like how for any parent, the way you raise your kid and what you teach them and what you speak to them about is ultimately what they're gonna believe and ultimately what they're gonna like focus their life about, right? Let's say I have a kid, and let's say I was like, I'm religious, right? So let's say like I day in and day out, I have my kid wake up, read the scriptures, and study them for like 5 hours straight, and then right after that he has to go to church and pray for 2 hours and stuff and do all this stuff. Whenever he grows up, he's gonna be crazy. He's gonna be an insane person, and that's all they're gonna know. The same way that like if I have a kid and all I'm teaching them is like, hey, you're they them. Hey, you can pick your own gender and you should be able to do this and this and this and this. That is what they're gonna grow up. They're gonna they're gonna be a blue hair liberal, and they're gonna be a wokey. No.
Is this what you meant by getting deeper into it, Jared?
No, I just meant like what you choose to like give your child is what they're gonna ultimately grow up knowing. So I think I think it's important to like raise them up to a certain age, but whenever they like grow up, like around like 15 or 16, where they're kind of like they're not like an adult, but they know, right? They can understand stuff easier. You tell them like, hey, look, you're going to be an adult soon, so you should know these things about the real world, such as like wanting to change stuff about yourself, wanting to change genders and stuff. Like, be realistic with them.
At that point, I feel like they already have a kind of an identity set for themselves.
Yeah,
and they already have a personality.
Fair.
So,
Yeah.
So even if you do present them and be like, hey, this exists, this exists.
Yeah, they're going to have like internet, right?
Yeah, there's a good chance that one, already know about it, or two, just look at you and be like, okay, well, I'm completely uninterested in that. Can I go outside and play football? That it could go one of two ways.
Right.
Like
Yeah, I think it's just like important to like recognize that like you like I think it's important to like raise a child the way like you want to and but also give them the freedom and let them know that they have the freedom to choose these things once they become of age to do those things. So yeah, like I think that's important to do. But I think it's like harmful to like have a child and then have them all that they know be like what you want them to know and have them make pretty much like force these ideas into their head the same way that like a crazy religious person is going to force their crazy religious things into their child's head. It's dangerous and it's wrong.
I feel the same way about like parents wanting to teach their kids like sexualities very young, because at one point whenever Pride was getting super 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 big, like I don't even know, probably like 2019, 2020, it was a big thing to like talk to your children, or going to schools and talking to children, like children, like middle schoolers and sixth graders. Hey, let's just have a friendly discussion about what gay people are, what lesbians are, and what that means. I personally only think that's weird because A, you're talking about anything sexual around a kid. And then B, like, that's not something that I would talk to my kid personally about until they were at least 16.
Do you remember
Like-
sorry to cut you off, but do you remember the presentation we had in elementary school about like puberty and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was way before.
Yeah.
Like
I was
most
gonna
people don't
say
hit puberty until like early high school and into middle school, and I had that in 4th grade. So
yeah, I remember I had
I
like
feel
a,
like if they slipped in like, oh, there's gay people and people like girls, I mean, I wouldn't find that weird.
I had like a sex ed class in like 6th grade, and I didn't
Mine
find
was
that
4th.
weird at all.
Yeah, mine was 4th.
Yeah, I think I honestly like kind of disagree. I feel like it's important to teach children. Well, not okay. Let me phrase this better. I think it's important to like.
Puberty is much different than sexuality. I'm talking about sexuality.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if it was in the same class kind of thing, if they also mentioned after puberty, talking about, hey, also, you'll start being interested in women, or if you're not, you'd be interested into men.
Yeah.
If you're a guy, like, I wouldn't care if my kid did that.
I think that's fine. Like if I think it's vastly different to like speak to children about sex or to educate them about sex. It's vastly different.
Yeah, if it was like every single day, I'd be like, yo, this school's weird. But
no, I mean, that's valid what you said, Jared. It's valid. Like you're fine with your child going to school, taking a puberty education class and a sexuality education, I guess, and not necessarily sex ed until they're, I guess, a certain age.
Yeah, that's how, or maybe sex ed, you could throw that in there too. Like, I'm just saying it's weird to teach it in class and not one of those classes. That makes sense?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like, obviously, I would hope that schools are doing their own, like, dedicated class for that.
Like, what if you go to history or math class and your teacher's like, hey, also, I'm gay. If you don't know what that is, it's when you like your own, like if you're in sex ed or a puberty class or something related to that, and the teacher was like, also, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'd be okay with that as a parent.
More of a professional manner, sure.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so do you want to hear my take?
Go for it.
Okay, so
it's something crazy.
It's not crazy. It really isn't. I just feel like children should remain children until a certain age. Then they become preteens, and then preteens come with a whole different set of principles you need to teach them. But I don't feel anything sexual or anything about like teaching sex ed shouldn't come until like 16, 17 at the max.
So you want to keep like your kid completely isolated from that until 16?
I don't want to say isolated because like I think puberty talk should happen around the age of puberty. I think sexual talk should happen around the age of, like high school. I don't think
Okay.
we should talk about that any time earlier. I think children should
Really?
remain children. I think that they should have a childhood because honestly, in my personal life, I was very overexposed to different things because of the internet, because of
Well, that's a different topic. That's a different discussion.
No, I mean, I feel like not even just like my friends and like my peers and stuff. I'm talking about the classes.
Okay.
Like that's great. Like it baffles me that you guys had that class in fourth grade. You said
I had
Yeah,
mine in 6th.
that's bad. Like
Fourth
that's
grade.
baffling. I would rip my kid out of that school so fast if that happened in fourth grade because that bothers
A
me.
puberty
A
class?
puberty class?
It does because
Why does
children
that
aren't going
bother
through
you?
puberty in fourth grade. They're going through it in like sixth or seventh or eighth. Yeah,
Everyone is different.
Okay,
I don't think so.
I disagree. I disagree. Like wholeheartedly. I think that's
With who? Me or Sarah?
with Sarah.
Definitely me.
Do you agree with Sarah?
No, I okay. Real quick, I want to say what I talked about earlier when I was talking about sexuality. I think that should be introduced along with the sex ed class, not puberty class in fourth grade.
With
fifth
sex
grade,
ed,
sixth
right?
grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like high school. But yeah, I think puberty should be taught early. I mean, it's a part of every single person's life ever, and like there's
Yeah.
nothing weird or wrong about that.
So for me,
Like it's gonna happen.
I had my class. I think I had sex ed and like puberty class, pretty much in the same class in 6th grade. They taught us all about that, and at the time, like my parents were fine with it. They think it's important to like have kids. Like they thought it was important for me and like the rest of my siblings and stuff to like
How
know
old
these
were you
things.
in fifth grade?
I don't know, probably like 12 or something. I don't know.
What grade was it?
6th.
Yeah, you'd be 12.
Yeah. And I mean, at least for me, it was easy to understand. I understood that this is like that was something that was important to learn. Like, and as I grow up, like obviously, I think it still is important for like children to learn these things. One, to learn about puberty because it's important to know about the changes that are going to happen in your body, even if they haven't happened yet or haven't started happening. You should be ready and understand these things beforehand. I think that's important because you get a kind of like ground base of like, okay, this is gonna happen. I should be ready. I won't be like scared. I won't be like frightened. Go up to my mom and be like, Mom, what is happening to my body? And stuff like that. I think that's perfectly fine. And I think when it comes to like sexuality, I think like having that same class at 6th grade is fine too, because it's like, no, like again, that's why I go back to saying that like it's different to like talk to kids about sex and educating them, right? Because you wouldn't go up to kids and be like, hey, we're going to talk about sex. Look at this video of these two people having sex. It's not that. It's being like, hey, this is how babies are made. This is what sex is. This is what it's for. And, this is like, it's important to know that because like, even before like that class, people already knew what sex was. Kids already knew what sex was. Internet was a thing. Internet is a thing, and it's only going to become getting bigger and bigger as our children and their children grow up. So it's just important to have them know. Even like I already knew what sex was. I went to that class and I was like, oh, this is the sex ed class. This is whenever it's happening. Okay, and I already know what this is. I know what this is. It's not like this like thing that I was like, oh my gosh, this is what sex is. Oh, I'm gonna go have sex right now. It's like, no, man. Like I knew what it was, and they just explained to me what like AIDS and STDs were, which I didn't know about, and I was like, oh, okay, now I know what to avoid. Now I know that if I want to have sex, I need a condom, and I need to be careful with who I have sex with. That was important, and they taught that to me. Had that been going on later, and had I had like raised different, maybe I would have probably had sex and had all this crazy experiences, but I didn't. And because of what they taught me, I think it's important. Just and whenever it comes to like internet and stuff, kids already know that stuff most likely before the class happens, and so I think it's important because like so the kids don't get confused, right? Because whenever they learn that stuff online or through word of mouth by friends and stuff,
it's not educational.
It's not educational. It's just straight up like, yo, this stuff is it makes you feel good. Maybe you should try it. Whereas like a class is like, hey, it does make you feel good and all this stuff, yeah, but here are the things that can happen because of that. And here's why you need to be careful, right? It teaches kids to be careful. That's what it is. And I think it's important. Like with my kid, 100%, if they want to do it at like 6th grade, yeah, go for it. 100%. I'm 100% signing off on that.
Yeah, that's valid. I guess I No, yeah, no. I mean, everything you're saying is making sense. Everything you're saying, I'm pretty much
Yeah,
agreeing with.
very valid.
Yeah, it is very valid. I mean, I think my only problem was I don't want to overexpose them. Like, I don't want them to have like an iPhone or an iPad until they're at least like
Yeah,
10
and
years
that's why I
old.
was saying that's a different argument, right? Because then
Right,
internet goes
Yeah.
into it, friends go into it. As a parent, monitoring your child and seeing what they're doing and what they're getting into, that's the parent's responsibility, right?
Right. I think I was just trying. I think I was just had those two a little bit muddled
Mm-hmm.
because in my head, in my past experience, I remember going to sex ed class and, like you said, know everything that they're talking about,
Right.
except a few things, like you said. Like, I wish I hadn't known, and I wish I learned those things from that class in high school. I think that's what I was trying to convey. Like,
Mm.
I wish that I wasn't so overexposed, like with a phone and an iPad and all of these friends and stuff. But I think that's, like you said, more of a parent thing, more of a internet thing, more of a peers thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree. I agree with you guys.
Yeah, so the most important thing taught in that class is like obviously pregnancy and STDs. So I think it's important that you educate kids that
Yeah, no, I'm
can't
not
get
telling
those
myself
like
to boot them out of that class if I find out they're gonna have it. I'm just saying I would want it to be a little bit later because I found out what like those things were at a very young age. So I don't want that to
that's what
happen.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like you can get pregnant at 12, you can get pregnant at 11. So I think it's important that you teach them before that happens. Correct?
Yep, that's valid. Okay, I mean I wouldn't necessarily pull them out of those classes. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just realized how young those classes, like the puberty class. I never had a puberty class, by the way. I only had sex ed, but I didn't realize that was so that that like happened so early on.
We also go to public schools. So
Yeah, we did go to public schools.
like there was a girl pregnant in our middle school, so
Oh my
I
goodness!
see.
What? I remember that.
Yes.
What?
That's why it's important.
All right. Well, those are some good topics.
Yeah, what a good discussion.
Do we have a good tier list for the pedophiles or what?
Are we doing a tier list? I think Jared died.
Uh oh.
Jared?
He's muted.
He's muted.
Baby, you had some good takes. I agree with your takes.
Mm.
I almost didn't agree with you.
Which one?
Like the last discussion we had.
I mean, usually not sex ed. That's what I'm saying. That's what I meant to say. Sex ed and puberty classes are very different.
Back.
I think that a puberty class should be in elementary school, and then a sex ed class should be like middle or high school.
I think it should be high school.
I agree with
Do
Zach.
you like want to
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, babe. You're not listening. So if you say high school, you can get pregnant, you can get STDs, you can reap the consequences of not being educated in sex if you don't have that class before you have sex.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're going to school with pregnant people in middle school.
Fair. Yeah.
That's why you need that class before you can have sex. Because obviously as a parent, you don't want your kid to have sex until they're of age. But it's probably going to happen. Like, you can't monitor unless you just monitor them 24/7. Anyway.
I never had a puberty class, but I knew what it was just because my parents talked to me about it. So would you rather talk to our kids about it, or would you rather them go to school and learn
That's
about
why
it?
they do it, because a lot of parents don't do that.
Yeah, and a lot of parents like I think a lot of parents like do that, but like a parent's not gonna have like they're not gonna have the know-all that like a professional would, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure my parents wouldn't mind like speaking to me and being like, hey, this is what sex is, what all this is, but they'd probably just like speak about just like sex and the consequences of that, but they wouldn't go into like STDs and stuff, or like the intricacies of it, because it's like like they didn't go through that or whatever, right? They didn't have the trouble with that. It's just like, you know, like, and with whenever it comes to professional, they have like a list of talking points and what needs to be discussed, and they go through that. So I wouldn't mind giving my kid like a little class on it, but I would trust the school system to like do that because they have like they're trained to do that.
It was just me and my mom, and I wonder if that's why. But I never had a talk of any sort.
Yeah,
I never did either.
Single parent too.
I had 2 moms and a dad, so yeah, I had a few talks.
You want to hear a funny story?
Go for it.
My mom thought I was gay.
What?
Really?
Was there like a basis for that, or?
Huh?
Was there like a basis for that, or just?
Well, I don't know. She never said like, "Are you?" I think you're gay, but she would like. I remember in high school, she would always be like, "You talk to any girls or guys?" And I'm like, "No." And then like,
Every mom's
like,
so open to it.
"Do you have a girlfriend yet?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And then she kept asking me that, and she's like, eventually just started asking, "Do you have a girlfriend or boyfriend?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gay." So.
Yeah, mom though.
Am I the first girl you told her about?
I think I might have told her about one in like middle school, but I didn't have any relationships in high school. And maybe that's why I'm just sitting there playing Siege. She's like, "Hey, you gay?"
She's like getting worried, like sweating, like, "Hey, do you have a relationship of any kind, please?"
Yeah. I'm like, all right, I gotta lock in. Okay.
No, your mom's valid for that though.
Yeah, mom for like being open to that.
My mom is. She's very nice.
Yeah, your mom is great. She is great.
Dude, I can confirm.
What do you mean by that, dude?
Yeah, let me call her real quick.
How do you know so much?
I was in your house, like, yeah, no, Zach doesn't have a girlfriend yet. Okay. Did we all like kind of give our take on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Nathan, did you have a take on anything?
I pretty much agree with what Zach said.
Nishan, be the devil's advocate. Go and say like kids should not have sex ever. No more sex ever.
No, actually, they
shouldn't be having sex. Period.
No, let's just end evolution right here. Let's call it quits. We're done.
No more procreation.
Yeah.
No more sex.
I'm castrating myself right now. I'm of age to do it.
Is that by choice, Jared?
You said what?
It says that by choice.
What I do want to kind of touch on is like the that little like aspect of like internet and stuff like that in children's lives. Like, I think
me and Sarah disagree here.
In what way?
Well, go ahead and ask your question.
Well, I was thinking like maybe it's different from what you were thinking, but I was just gonna say like, internet is big and it's only going to continue to grow, and by the time we're like adults with children and stuff, it'll most likely be like way past what we have now. Like, how do you guys feel like children? How do you guys feel like children should be monitored whenever it comes to like internet?
Oh, then yeah.
I want Nathan to go first.
I feel like you should look at the websites you're looking at and like what they watch on YouTube, because I seen some really insane shit when I was young. I feel like if my mom was looking at what I was watching, I definitely wouldn't have seen like people dying.
That's so like true, I guess. Yeah, I can relate. Okay,
yeah, that's my take.
Well, before we answer that question particularly, what were you thinking, Zach?
I thought you were gonna ask what age should you let your children have access to internet, such as like tablet, phone, computer, or whatever.
Okay, we can touch on that. What do you think?
So yeah, let's say a phone, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So,
or just the internet in general, like a computer or anything.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say because like it's different between searching on something and then like playing a game on the internet, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Like, okay, searching, being just access to the internet in regards of like going on Google and searching something.
Yeah, let's say a phone, because like there's a difference between a phone and an Xbox.
Right.
So like a phone, I would say like 8. And I know Sarah disagrees.
Okay.
Let's hear your age, and then we'll have a little
Yeah,
debate.
go ahead, Sarah. What do you think?
What do you think about that, Jared? What do you think about age?
No. I'm asking you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. Let
asking-
me hear you.
this
Let me hear
directed
you first.
And then we're gonna have a debate.
Yeah, live debate.
Okay, so I didn't get a phone. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't get a phone until I was 14.
Loser.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
I had a phone at 12.
I had a phone in high school.
Jared?
I don't remember.
You're just born with a phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, it goes back to my whole overexposing thing. I think that I want my kids to be kids when they're kids. I think that they should be reading all the super classic books that I read when I was a kid. I want them to play on some kind of device that I did. Like I had a Game Boy or a DS. I'm not going to say I'm going to give them exactly that. I'm going to give them something of their time. Like I'm going to give them an Xbox. Without Xbox Live, I'm going to get them a PlayStation. You know, I'm going to get them a Switch without internet.
Okay.
I want them to have fun. I want them to use technology. That's totally fine.
Fun without Xbox Live?
I want them to play games. That's totally fine. I want them to be able to have technology.
Okay.
I don't want them to have access to the internet or online games until at least the age of 13 or 14.
Okay, are you done?
That's very minimum. Like, if it was my choice, I wouldn't give it to them until they're like 14 or 15.
Okay.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. So, first, phone. I'm going to get them a phone at 8. I mean, obviously, I don't know what life is going to be like, because obviously our lives are a lot different than they were when we first got our phone.
Yeah, in 2000.
I feel like they're a lot more important now than they were back then. So what I want to do is I want to get my kid a phone, probably like as soon as they can understand what the hell's going on with the phone. And I want to teach them early. And then I'm also going to monitor them until they're an older age. And then with Xbox Live, they can have that shit as soon as they turn like 5.
All right.
They need to experience a COD
They need to hop into a COD lobby. They need to know.
Yeah.
Get some backbone.
They need to be prepared for life, because that shit's real.
Yeah. Get some balls on you.
They gotta deal with someone talking shit about them at 3 a.m.
No, like Jinxie had. Have you ever heard Jinxie's story? He said he was 8 years old. He was playing games at 3 a.m. and he was on Call of Duty game, whatever, online game. And he killed someone, and then this grown man said, "I'm gonna come to your house and I'm gonna F your mom," and something like that. And that literally traumatized him. He got off of his game, he went and hugged his mom.
No backbone. I had that like 50 times playing COD.
Exactly.
I don't want that to happen to my children. I don't want that to happen.
Okay, so you want an 8-year-old to cry about it, or you want a fucking 17-year-old to cry about it?
I want
Which one do you
want? Anyone to cry about it.
Okay, well that's what's gonna happen. They're either gonna cry when they're an adult and be embarrassed that they're crying like a little baby, or they're gonna get it when they're a baby.
I want my son to look forward to playing online games. I want him to know all the risks involved. I want him to be safe online. And so once he turns 12, 13, 14, I'm going to give him Xbox Live. I'm going to give him a phone. And I'm be like, hey, there's these things on the internet. And then I'm going to go in my internet, and then I'm going to block some websites so he can't.
Okay. Do you guys like want to actually like have a debate about this, or like can I give a little piece?
No. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I think whenever you said like I want my kid to be a kid whenever they're a kid, like you can give your kids like access to internet and stuff and have them also be a kid, right? Like I had internet.
Exactly.
Because as soon as you get access to the internet, you just become so much more like knowledgeable of things that you didn't even really need to know
that's
about.
kind of like
better off not knowing.
Well, that's the risk, right? That's like the responsibility of the parent too, right? Like you can't. Okay, and that's
doing that at a teenager age.
Okay.
Not a young-year-old age.
But what I'm saying is like I had access to the internet at a very young age, but I will never I never look back on it and be like, dang, I wasn't able to.
Happen.
Yeah, I wasn't able to like have Christmas the way I wanted to. I wasn't able to like, enjoy childlike things because I had access to the internet, right? Like I never once thought about that and been like, dang, I missed out on my childhood because I had a phone in my hand or because I had Google accessible, right? I don't remember the age I got a phone. I'm sure it was very young. My parents were very I guess like open to that. I had like a computer, at home computer that I could use whenever, and my siblings had like Xbox or PlayStation, whatever that like I could use whenever they let me. And I experienced, the ins and outs of a Call of Duty lobby and name calling. I experienced like things on internet that like, sure, maybe I shouldn't have, but I never once think back on it and be like, dang, I'm not a kid anymore because of these things that I saw or I got experienced. I think that's the part of being a kid, especially whenever it comes to internet. But I think that like, I'm not saying like it's justifiable that like a kid looks at like porn or something and oh, they're just a kid. It's like, no, that's whenever the parents step in, and that's why I think it's important to kind of have guidelines, right? Because I would be open to like having my kid have a phone and stuff. Maybe not super early, right? But if let's say my wife and I have a compromise and they have a kid around like what Zach thinks, like 8, right? It is my responsibility to let them have that freedom, right? Because you don't want to put your kid in a cage and be like, hey, you can have this, but you can't do this and this and this, and block off like 90% of what you gave it to them for. You can set guidelines, you can monitor what they're doing with also them having a bit of privacy, because I think it's important for your kids to have privacy 100%. But I think it's that you can also monitor them and be like, hey, this is what you shouldn't do. Right? Because you're the parent, you're the adult. And I think you can do that, right? You can have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't have to be one or the other, right? Because that's what I had. My parents told me, hey, don't do this or don't do that. And not very often. They didn't like need to, because I knew right from wrong. But it's like whenever I did something wrong or I looked at something wrong, it's like that didn't like alter reality and be like, dang, now I'm like desensitized to this and I lose my childhood. It's like, no, that happened, and that's the risk of like allowing your child to view something like that. But it's your responsibility to like, as a parent, to kind of monitor that and be like, okay, hey, I saw that this happened, make sure like this doesn't happen again, or block the website, block certain things like they can do on the phone and stuff, right? I think I don't think it's like one or the other, where like if you give it too young, then it immediately ruins their chance of like they're immediately desensitized to like sexual things or to gore, or that's not the case at all. I don't think so. It is definitely like possible where it can happen for sure, right? But I think that's whenever it comes to like the parents' job, the parents being parents.
So when I was like man, I had to be under 10. We had a computer, and I remember I looked up like boobies or something, and I remember my mom came in there and she was like, hey, I can see what you're looking at on the computer, right? And I never did it again. And then when I turned around like 14, my mom never looked at my phone, and I feel like that is okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how I'm going to raise my kid. Like, they need to have privacy. They need to experience things. Like, you should have trust in the kid that you raise not to do anything wrong.
100%. Because that reflects your teaching of them, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because like, right, like
what not to look at and stuff like that.
100%. Yeah. Like, and then like, if you overprotect your kid and stuff, then that becomes a different issue, right? Like that's like why people make fun of like homeschooled kids or whatever, is because they don't have any social interaction, right? The same way that like if you keep a kid like isolated from the world until like 14 or 16 with internet and like social interactions, they're gonna be a little bit weird. They're gonna be a little bit strange because they're not used to that, right? And so I think you can have that while also like teaching them like, hey, like from my own experience, right? I remember this vividly because it was so funny. It's so dumb. Like I was a kid. You guys know Abi. We were like his family was over at like our place, and we were on the computer messing around. and I was typing up like kid.com, and it showed up like a bunch of like pictures of little kids like jumping around in a playground or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Then I searched up like teenager.com, and it's like some dumb website, and then I searched up adult.com, and it's a porn website. And for like, it was open for like a split second. I remember like clicking, like it opened up and like boobies right in front of me, and I was like, and the computer was like in the family room where everybody was at. So like they popped up and I immediately like tried to close it, and the screen froze and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, and there's like boobies like right in front of me for like a good like a minute, but nobody saw and stuff. I didn't get like reprimanded for it, but it's like because my parents like were parents to me, I knew that like I just saw something I wasn't supposed to see, and I never searched it up again, right? It's because like my parents were like, hey, don't do that, you know you shouldn't be looking at that, right? So
Dude, W story, that was so funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not the computer freezing.
Dude, it legit froze, man, and like it felt like hours passed by. I was like, oh my gosh, dude.
I bet your heart was pumping so fast.
Dude, I was like freaking out because it wouldn't close, man. It just wouldn't close, and I just had to like, I think I had to Alt F4 for it to close.
Okay, so you guys both had experiences, right, where you searched up this thing and you're like, oh, so this thing exists. Oh, I just, I'm not supposed to be looking at this, right?
Yeah.
And then you didn't do it again. Can you both say that's kind of what happened?
I didn't do it. What do you mean you didn't do anything?
Yeah, what do you mean by didn't do anything?
You didn't do it again. Like you looked it up.
Oh, I didn't do it again. Oh, okay, no.
Yeah, not until I was
Okay.
like older.
Me, when I was a kid,
Right, yeah.
I didn't get a phone until I was 14, right? But I did have access to the internet when I was like, well, on my DS, I had internet on it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When I knew I wasn't supposed to see something, I would deep delve into it. So that was my problem. So I was way too overexposed at a very young age, and I feel like that's because I had access to internet whenever I was like, I don't know, like 8, 12, on my DS. And then when I got a phone, obviously I'm gonna deep dive into it more. And I'm not saying necessarily like porn. I'm saying like everything horrible ever. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't do that till like high school.
because like you guys are saying, well, I see this bad thing and I'm like, oh well, I probably shouldn't look it up again. It's wrong. I probably shouldn't do it. My parents taught me not to. Yeah, my parents taught me that too, but I did the exact opposite as soon as I got internet.
Did you ever get caught?
I mean, no, I didn't.
Maybe that's the problem, man.
No, actually, I did get caught. I get caught when I was younger because I looked up on the family computer, kissing in bed, I think. And it like popped up a bunch of YouTube videos, and I was too scared to click on any of them, so I clicked the X button, and then my brother went into the family room when everyone was there and said, "Sam looked up this," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm sure I was embarrassed. I'm sure I was like,
You're
"Oh
like,
my
no
god!" that-
pee in bed.
I was like, well, yeah, I got caught, and that's embarrassing. But I never
Yeah.
thought I'm never going to do that again. I'm thinking I got to be stealthier next time,
Okay,
I got embarrassed. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that again.
dude, I got embarrassed one time hard. But okay, so okay, I think like whenever it comes to like kids like deep diving into stuff they shouldn't see, obviously you can't like blame the kid. They're kids. I think that's like I don't know.
You should blame yourself. I'm thinking you shouldn't give them access to those things until they know what they are first. Like, I didn't know what porn was. I didn't know what kissing in bed was. I just knew that I saw it on the TV, and I wanted to find out more what it was.
Where did you
I
see
think
Missing in Bed on the TV? What were you watching?
Shoot on the
Movie
TV.
or something.
Okay, the Freak
But-
Bob TV.
But I would rather they tell me what it is before I get the internet, and they prepare me for what
I think
the internet.
I think that you just have like almost like an unrealistic like view on it. I think like in an ideal world,
because I have past experiences that like I don't
Well,
want
also-
my kid to live the same
well,
childhood
in an
I did.
ideal world, yeah, like it would be great if you can like have your kid go on the internet and have them not have access to like certain things forever until they're at a certain age and stuff. But it's like that's the risk of it. Like you have to be like knowing of that, and like you have that's why I say it's important for like that's whenever the parents come in, because like you monitor it enough to like catch them like doing that, and you're like, hey, this is why it's wrong, and then like now they know. right? And if they don't stop, you're monitoring them for that reason, right? I'm not saying that like your mom was like a terrible mom because she didn't, catch you or whatever.
What do you mean
It's
by
more.
monitoring? Because you just said don't check their phones. They need privacy.
Well, no, okay, that's different, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about like an older kid. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah, like whenever it's like a kid, right? That's why I'm always bashing on like iPad baby moms is because it's like they're young enough to where like it's not that big a deal if you monitor them, right? You can set guidelines, you can set like certain hours of how they can use it or when they can use it, and stuff like that. But if it's like a teenager, like I'm not gonna go into my kid's room and be like, give me your phone, let me check it. All right, no messages from like no dick pics, no nudes, no nothing, because like they deserve privacy. Because once you take that away from them, then they start to resent you for it, right?
Yeah.
So that's
worse things as
yeah,
well.
that's awful. That's whenever it's like, okay, you don't want me to do that. Well, I'm gonna do it even more. I'm gonna do it
I'm gonna
sneakier.
go do it in real life.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But like, if it's like a kid, then like, you give them like an iPad or something, it is your responsibility to monitor it even more intensely because like they're a kid, and like in your case, you would like put like. I know like on iPads you can like set like where they can't move the screen. It's like set on YouTube only or like certain times of when you can use
Kids.
it. Yeah, or YouTube Kids. Even though YouTube Kids is crazy, but like stuff like that, right? Like, and even with like teenagers, right? Blocking websites like porn websites or like what was it? I can't remember, but like there's certain things you can do without totally breaching your kid's privacy and losing their trust and respect. You know what I mean? But yeah, like just if it's like if you're giving a kid access to the internet like 8 years old, it's not that big of a deal for you to like watch what they're doing, watch what they're searching up and stuff. Because if they do end up doing something wrong, then it's your opportunity to like express to them why it was wrong, what not to do and stuff. And then, you can continue monitoring them. And if that happens again, that's whenever you reprimand them like kind of more sternly.
Also, young kids like that, it's not being talked about on a day-to-day basis. When you're in high school, man, you hear some crazy shit.
Yeah, and even even if the internet isn't introduced to them, that doesn't mean other kids aren't going to have access to the internet. All right, like other kids, I learned most of my stuff from friends, from word of mouth, not the internet.
Word of mouth for me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
To be fair, public school is much different than private school. I went to a private school from elementary up until middle school. Middle school and high school is when I got super duper overly exposed to things. But that's just because
I mean, that's gonna happen no matter where you are. Like,
Yeah,
middle school and high school is when that happens.
yeah, that's also a good
private
point.
school I went to had pre-K to seniors, and none of them. It was a Catholic school.
Well, all that, and also no senior's gonna go up to like a fifth grader and be like, "Yo, come here, man. Make sure you something crazy." That's weird. So
I went to
in America. I don't think that. Over there, I don't think it's weird. Over
Hello?
here, I think it's weird.
what? You don't think
Over there in Jordan, like it wouldn't be weird because they're all very cordial. They're all very Catholic. Nothing is happening. Nothing is being shown. Most people don't even have phones.
Oh, hey.
Like,
okay. I thought you
very
meant.
different
All right.
over here. 'Cause when I went to, like I told my boyfriend this, when I went to public school over here, my first day of middle school, I went up to someone and I put my hand out to shake their hand to say, hi, this is my name. Do you want to talk to me? And then they just laughed at me and ran away. And that was like a cultural shock for me. And he laughs about it all the time. But I'm like, hi, what's your name? And I put my hand out. But
Oh, like kids are mean. That's just kid thing.
Yeah, it's just you being a dork, dude.
I would have laughed at you too. No, but like what you're saying is like, oh, I was in private school until like middle school. But like, yeah, I think Zach had a great point where it's like, well, that stuff is really only talked about in middle school to like high school, and like even in like I feel like in Jordan, like they probably weren't talking to you about it because you're a child, because you're not of the same age group. I wouldn't like if I had like in elementary school, like let's say I was in 6th grade and my friends were talking about like sex and stuff, which they were. I wouldn't go up to like my little brother's class because he was in my school at some point, and like go up to his class and be like, hey guys, let me talk to you about sex real quick, because that's like I knew that was weird.
I mean, I'm not saying that did happen in my school. I'm just saying if it did, it wouldn't have been weird.
Okay, what do you mean by that? What are you saying by that? What do you mean?
I just mean like, I don't know, dude. I just feel like whenever I went to a private school, my experience was that it was, we weren't exposed to anything of that sort. Like in 4th grade, we didn't have a puberty class. You know what I mean? That wasn't a thing. That wasn't taught to us. You know, that wasn't even on our minds. Not even the seniors' minds. Like, because
the seniors didn't even have puberty class.
No, they didn't have anything like that. And my sister is like 2 or 3 years older than me, and she can attest to that same thing. It was very, very private school, very Catholic.
Are we?
Well, I find that hard to believe.
Are we sure this is not a private school thing and a country thing?
And not like a super Catholic thing?
It's a different dynamic. Like, I mean, they have that class in public schools in Jordan. That's what I'm saying. Like, private schools they work a little differently. I don't know if that's the same over here.
I don't think it is.
But I'm saying that was my experience, private school versus public school, because I feel like I grew up way faster in middle school and high school, which is, valid. That's gonna happen eventually. But I feel like I went from a little kid to a very, very, very mature 13-year-old.
Yeah, I did too. And I feel like everyone else did too.
So did I.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
13-year-olds are kids. I feel like they're still kids. I feel like they should still be playing hopscotch. I don't feel like they should be wearing
Dude, just because you have a phone doesn't mean you can not play hopscotch.
Yeah, you can have both.
Have you seen 13-year-olds nowadays?
You can have a phone and still have a childhood.
So because you had a phone at a young age, your childhood was ruined? Is that what you're trying to say?
I didn't say your childhood is ruined. I'm saying you're becoming more of a person like your peers, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want my kids to grow up to be 13-year-olds today, because 13-year-olds today are like, they're tweakers and they're getting pregnant. You know what I mean? I want my kids to be as kids as long as they possibly can until they're literal teenagers, like 14, 15.
I'm sure that happened in the 80s when cell phones didn't exist, though.
I doubt it.
You doubt? Wait, what was the argument? You doubt what didn't happen in the 1800s?
You doubt what?
That people were wearing crop top booty shorts and getting
that's different. That's a little bit different, right? Because that's a change over time, not due to like internet. That's just like a fashion sense. Yeah, that's a little bit different, right? Like, I'm sure kids were still talking like raunchy stuff and making inappropriate jokes at the 1800s. Sure.
I'm sure they were. I mean, I'm sure
I said
they were.
1980, not 1800s.
Oh, wait, I totally misunderstood.
A little bit way too far.
I could have swore you said 1800s, but
no, I said 1980s. I said before cell phones were existing. I'm sure the same thing was happening as they do now.
Yeah,
okay, well, before cell phones, 1980s, sure. Yeah, I'm sure that still happened.
Okay. Regardless, my opinion is that if it's in my power, I want my kid to be a kid and not be overexposed until their brain is developed enough to understand what's going on around them.
And that's where I think, like, obviously, at the end of the day, that's your opinion. You can have that. That's fine. But I think that it's almost like too idealistic, right? Like, because even if you don't give them the internet, there are people around them, even if it's not from school, like maybe friends from a different whatever, that are still probably going to talk about it because they're kids.
And that's fine.
My friend Ethan,
out of my control. But as a parent, I'm going to do what's in my control to make sure my kids stay kids.
But you can do it even with the internet, though.
But okay,
can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pretend I didn't have a phone. Right, I'm going in my first day of high school. I sit down next to my friend Ethan in Spanish class. And he shows me this guy blowing off his head with the AK-47.
Okay.
Like, would that happen if I did or didn't have a phone? Would that happen?
I mean, like I said, that's...
He's like, hey, Zach, look at this. Oh, wait, you don't have a phone? Never mind.
This is a real story. If I didn't have a phone, I still would have seen it.
Like I said, these are circumstances out of my control in public school.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I understand.
That are in my control, and even if I probably will fold. I probably will give them a phone when they're freaking 10 years old because Zach feels very strongly about it. I'm sure we
Yeah,
will
and then we can just monitor them until they're of age that I can trust them.
heavily monitor what they're looking up and what they're searching and what websites they can access. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
and I
know.
think it's just I think it really just. Go ahead.
Dude, just there's so many like websites out there that will just rope your kids into things, and like even Roblox, dude. There's some weirdos on Roblox.
For sure, yeah.
My little sister play Roblox,
So-
and some guys talking about anal. You know, like I don't want that to happen to my
Right.
kids. Like, why should my kid that is 7 years old know what anal is? You know what I mean? Like, if I gave him an Xbox and they're playing like freaking Minecraft, there's no way that they could be exposed to that, and they're having a great time on the game. You know what I mean? They have entertainment. They're happy. They're being a kid. They're experiencing their childhood, and that's what I want them to have. And they shouldn't be thinking about all these things when they're so little and so young and impressionable.
I mean, I guess everyone's different, but for me, I would play games. I mean, I guess I didn't get access to internet until I was like not access to internet, but I didn't have like Xbox Live until I was like 13 or 12.
Yeah.
But then I would still play COD. I would still play Seed. I would still play Minecraft, and people just build penises. And it never like scarred me where I couldn't sleep. It never ruined my childhood.
And
I'd be like, "Haha," and then
even
move
like
on.
for me.
Because you're 13, 14. What if you saw that when you were 8? You know what I mean?
Okay,
I was
that's
playing
exactly
GTA
what I
with
was.
my dad when I was 10.
That's
or,
exactly
like,
what
younger.
I was about to say. I was like probably like 8 or something whenever I like my brother had like a PlayStation and I was like playing it. Like I was playing it all the time. And hold on, they're at my door.
They're like, oh, you mentioned this. Nashawn, do you have any strong feelings? Because it feels like all three of us do.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Wow.
Real quick, this is last topic, by the way.
Nashawn?
Oh well, I don't know. I feel like you would have to monitor who they're talking to, and like definitely what they're watching on YouTube and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I wouldn't give my kid a phone like until they're probably about 10. And
Okay.
I would just monitor their like who their contacts are, I guess, and then just what they do on it, like just periodically.
Fair.
And then also, when you give your kid a phone, it's not like, oh, they have a phone now, we're fucked. Like, you can be like, hey, don't do this, or I'm gonna take your phone away. Like, it's that simple. If I catch you doing something, I'm gonna take your phone away.
Just be a parent.
And you're not gonna get it no more. Yeah, I mean, that's where parenting comes in.
Okay. But what I was gonna say is I was playing like the PlayStation and stuff all the time, like around like 8, 9 years old, and it's like it's not as like crazy as like we're making it out to be, right? I was playing COD and stuff like that all the time. I had online. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like I would watch my older cousins play like Dark Souls, like that.
Yeah.
And, like it didn't like traumatize me or anything. I just thought, oh, we just playing a game, okay.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is like I was playing online. I had like microphone of like Call of Duty online lobbies. I wasn't like constantly getting bombarded by like grown men saying all these obscene things to me or like talking about these crazy topics that a child shouldn't hear. It was for the most part quiet with the occasional some people, and you know that's just how it is. Like you play the match and then they're gone by the next match. It's just not that rampant.
Especially now, man, like no game chat.
Yeah, especially now, for sure. I think, like I said, you can have your kick and eat it too, where you can give your kid that phone and not have it be this, like, insane, life-altering thing for them that they can't have.
Okay, it's very, very different, though, Jared. Like, you're saying solely COD. Like, COD is a cool game. COD is a run-and-gun game. You're periodically going to have game chat with random different people because you're in different matches all the time. However, when you're in more, like, personal games that are like I don't know, like Roblox where there's private chats or you're
Dude, I was playing like Gaia Online, if you knew what that is. It's like some like I was messaging people like all the time, random people all the time. I was playing like Habbo Hotel or whatever. I was playing like Wizard 101, stuff like that. Like
Yeah, I
100%,
play Animal
I
Jam.
had like DMs and private messages. 100%, like with random people. There's even like voice chats in some of them. Yeah, I 100%. Like there's a ton of things before Roblox that were just like Roblox that I played, that I spoke to like strangers in, and not once was it like anything remotely close to being this like thing that like I think about it and I'm like, holy crap. No.
I say COD because I feel like that's like the worst example. Like you're gonna hear shit that you've never heard before,
Right,
and
yeah.
like not necessarily COD, but like competitive games with game chat that are mostly team
feel like
dominated.
you guys were lucky enough to not hear these things.
I mean,
What were,
I was
like-
the problem, to be
I
fair.
feel like, what were you doing on the phone that like has
It's
you?
not just me though. It's not just me though. I mean, this has happened to plenty of my friends, plenty of girls that I know. Like it might be just a girl thing.
Yeah,
but I
it
don't
could
know.
be like a gender thing that like maybe we just don't have to
know.
deal with. I don't know.
As soon as I got my phone, I was like 13, 14. I like immediately started adding everybody on my quick ad or whatever. Because I'm a kid. I don't know what Snapchat is. I just got Snapchat.
Well, I did that
And
too.
then,
Maybe only girls like
literally
search up.
immediately,
Maybe
probably
only
a month after I got it, I get Snapchat. Right, and I'm talking to all these random people. Mostly they're people from my class because they're mutual friends from like one friend that I added. Right. One of them was a 36-year-old man that said, "Can I show you something?" and sent me a full body picture of him naked. You know what I mean? And I was 13 years old.
Are we talking about Snapchat or are we talking about video
I'm
games?
talking about No. So it came from. I think I was playing a game online, and then I got their Snapchat, or I added them on Quick Ad. Somehow I got their thing. I don't know if it was Quick Ad, but somehow it might have been from a friend or something. But
You didn't know
somehow I
not to
got
do
their
this,
thing online. I mean, it's online regardless. It's internet. You know what I mean?
but you
that
didn't know
happened
not to
when I
do
was,
that.
like a kid, and I was like, well, that's weird, and I blocked him. It didn't traumatize me, but in hindsight, I'm like, well, holy crap! What if my kid experiences that? That's
That's where I say like parenting comes in, right?
Yeah, because if I play a game or I talk to someone online,
Told my parents that. You know what I mean?
Wait, what?
I never told my parents that happened. I thought it was some just weirdo. You know what I mean?
But like even
did you learn from it?
I feel like even from that, like you should have already. Okay, I feel like that's why like monitoring is necessary. But like even like okay, my parents didn't really like monitor my phone like crazy like at all really. But like I kind of like if that happened to me. Okay, I remember this one time I went on Omegle and I saw this like girl like masturbating, and I immediately like got off because I was like, oh, that was a woman naked. I don't want to see that. And like it's just like I don't know, like I'm really like not trying to make it seem like I'm bashing your like parents or whatever, but it's just like that's whenever like parents come in where like your parent is like, hey, this is right, this is wrong, this is what you shouldn't see, this is what it's okay to see on the internet and stuff. And it's like I don't even know why I'm like bringing that such a high point, because my parents didn't even do that to me. It's just kind of like from like I don't even know, like just like inherently I knew like that's not something I need to see, so I won't.
That's why I was asking the question. Like, did you like?
Yeah, it's like.
Did you know not to do that? That's what I meant to say.
Like I said, I immediately blocked him. I was like, that's weird.
Okay, but if I was playing a game and someone was like, "Yo, text me," and I'm like, "I'm not fucking texting you," or like, "Hey, click this link," I'm not doing that.
As a kid, you can't really differentiate like what's bad and good most of the time.
What age group are you talking about?
Yeah, like how old were you?
If I'm old enough to understand like what the hell's going on, I know not to do that.
I'm thinking like.
How old were you when this happened?
Well,
10 to 12?
Before I had a phone, and so I think it was on my iPad. But I think I was like, either 12, 13, or 14. But I was in the Queen area.
I'm not trying to be mean at all. Okay.
You said the most vile thing.
That is way too old to be doing that. Like, you should know not to do that. Or, like, at least, I mean, after it happened, I know it's, like, awful it happened, but did you, like, oh, that's why I don't do that?
No. I kept adding people. I kept going on online.
It's just like, okay, that's just like natural selection.
Yeah, maybe don't add random.
I'm sorry, but it just seems like like you're the problem. I'm sorry.
Well, okay, yeah, obviously.
The problem that a 36
No, that's crazy to say. No.
13-year-old on Snapchat. Thank you for telling me I am the problem.
You are not the problem. That's awful. That's awful. No, wait. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. No, that's awful. Obviously, you're not the problem. You can't be blamed for an adult showing you a kid that. Obviously, I'm sure Zach didn't mean that, but it's like
I don't think he meant it like that.
I mean, let me defend myself.
Don't double down. Don't double down. Don't even.
Anyway, I mean, if I'm 14, okay, and I click on a link or I click on like, if let's say I did do that, like I would never do that again. Obviously, like yeah, the guy is a pedophile, and like you're not the problem. But to say you kept adding people after that happened.
I'm a kid. I don't know better. You say I should know better, but some kids don't.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're kids.
I wouldn't say, like, yeah, I would never blame you for that. Obviously, like, even at that age, you know, yeah, like, I was doing the same thing. I was adding everybody. I remember, like, my Snapchat account, I immediately added everybody. And that was, like, around, like, 15 or whatever. But, like, to even after sounding like a broken record, I think it's just like parenting, right? They have to set a foundation for that. Okay, obviously, you know, you are not to blame for like doing child things. You were a kid, you're gonna do kid things, but it's like there should be like, I don't know, like I feel like there should be things that like your parents tell you that like you know because of that what not to do on like the internet, you know. But like even regardless, stuff like that's gonna happen. That's a part of life, and you just like learn from that. You just grow up from that.
Right. Like I said, my foundation, like you said, I want to teach them about internet safety before I let them on the internet. But I was never taught about internet safety or anything like that. I would just give it internet. And that's like the difference between me and my parents. Like I want to wait a little bit longer and I want to educate them a little bit more before I allow them access to this thing. I want them to know 100% right from wrong internet safety before they can go online and meet grown adults.
I feel like you can't teach everything though, because there's so much to it.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm like I know everything. I'm just saying the basis of people are weird. You know, they're gonna talk to you. You need to not talk to them back, and you need to not look at these websites. Not good for your brain.
Yeah, I think that's like obviously I respect that opinion a lot, really, because I think that's great. But I think it's like you have to accept the risk that like obviously you can't teach them everything, and that like
why do you need to accept that risk until like when they're a kid? Why can't you accept the risk when they get a little bit older and be like, okay, well I feel a little bit more comfortable.
Well, I'm not saying that like you have to give your kid the internet at a young age. I'm just saying like if you decide to do so, it doesn't have to be
monitor
like
them. Like we're just repeating ourselves.
Yeah, it's just really, it's just like that's the risk. Even whenever you're older, even whenever you're an adult, there's like scams and stuff that you can fall victim to, right? It's like that's the risk of the internet.
That's what I meant from earlier. Like obviously you were a kid and that situation was not your fault. Okay, let's do a different situation. Let's say, okay, same age, 13 or 14, and you were like you get hit up with a pop-up ad. Click on this, fill out the survey, you win $100, right? You do it, you fill out the survey, you don't get $100. How many more times are you gonna do that before you're like, okay, this is not happening?
As an adult, 0. I'm not gonna do that ever again.
As a 13-year-old kid,
I don't know. Maybe the next one will give me $100.
Bro, I did that like I'm gonna keep it a buck. I did that like 100 times, bro.
I'm sure we all did. I'm sure we did it a few times. But then you realize this is not happening.
Yeah, and obviously, eventually you stop. Yeah.
I would not say, like, even if you're 13, you're going to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's where, like, just, like, your brain activates and it's like, oh.
You learn from experiences.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think, like, what I'm just saying is what I've been saying is just that's the risk of the internet. Just inherently, that is what the internet is. There's gonna be some bad actors in it that is just, or some just malicious websites or whatever, and that's just how it is. And like, you don't have to give your kid the internet super early. You don't have to. Like, if you want to wait, you can do that. That's your kid. That's your rules. You know, your house, your rules, whatever. That's fine. But no matter what age and no matter how much you try to teach them, there's always going to be something on the internet that could like maybe traumatize them, or maybe, you know, something awful can happen to them regardless of age. Even if even if they're like 18 and you're like, okay, now you can finally use it, the next day they're like probably get scammed out of all their money, or like go, you know, whatever, right? It's like, you can't like prevent everything.
So do you think it's better to
preventing them like going and, you know, getting taken by a pedophile? It's more like protecting them in their very impressionable childlike brains up until they are more mature and kind of understand what's going on around them, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
Like a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old.
Okay, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Sure.
What do you think's better? Giving a kid, let's say 10. Like, I really hate this age thing because everyone's different. But let's say 10. Age of 10, access to internet, or then access to internet at age of 18, and they're just on their own.
I think it's worse the 18.
Yeah, because
definitely worse at 18.
That's the same example I gave earlier with like homeschooling, right? They don't have any social interaction, so they're a little bit weird and a little bit like, you know. And whenever it comes to internet, they're like, it's like, you know, it's giving them like a weapon of mass destruction to like a baby. They're not gonna know what to do with it. It's crazy. So obviously the 18, right?
Do you mean the 10?
It's worse to give it to the 18-year-old.
Oh, yeah, worse. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, babe?
I'm going to give myself the opportunity to not answer this question.
Dude, like, you can't be scared of the internet. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not scared of the internet. I'm not saying that. I obviously will give it to him much earlier than 18, but if I had to pick, it would be 18.
Really?
Yes, 100%. If I could protect my child from evil things as long as I can.
That's why I'm saying it's like, it's almost unrealistic.
Be able to protect them from stopping him from the internet.
It's not unrealistic. You want
I 100% think it is.
For your children.
Okay, yeah, obviously, yes. But if you're okay, you give it to them at 18 years old.
I'm not. Okay, first of all, I'm not giving it to them
Yeah.
at 18.
Okay. Obviously, yes. Obviously, you're not gonna do that. I would hope not. But like, let's say you do. That's a terrible decision. I think like the more you try to shield them away from it, is the bigger the risk, I think.
It's all gonna hit them at once when they're an adult, and then what? Then they're just fucked.
Freaked out.
Again, not gonna wait until they're like a grown adult to.
Yeah, it's just for the. I mean,
yeah, for the sake of argument. Yeah, it's just for the sake of the question or whatever. I just think it's worse. Because you said if I had a choice, yeah, I would do 18. Just for the sake of argument, it's clearly worse the older you would give it to them. Because it's like.
Also,
go ahead.
I learned more from peers around me in real life than I did on the internet. I'm just gonna
Absolutely.
say that. I've seen more. I learned more around in real life. Everyone's different. Everyone has different friend groups. Everyone's different. Mm-hmm. But I definitely seen a lot worse things by people just showing me shit.
Yeah, just like your friends showing you stuff, or like your like older cousins or whatever.
Yeah, like
that's weird.
Obviously, like I respect your opinion, like 100%. I think like you wanting the best for your child is absolutely what I want to hear coming from you, right? But it's like, it's almost like the people who make those arguments of like, I'm gonna keep my kid homeschooled. They can't date until 18. They can't talk to anybody. You know, it's almost not okay. This is a crazy comparison, but I mean no disrespect, really. You can tell me if I'm crossing a line. But it's like that Gypsy Rose's mom type thing, where it's like she's like really keeping her encaged in this box and making her like not know what real life is. And then, like, she snapped and had her mom killed, right? It's like, you don't want to do that to your kid because it's bad for them. Even though you really, really want the best for them and you think it's the best, you really you think it's the absolute best for them, it's actually just hurting them because they know
Do you guys
nothing.
not think 14-year-olds are young? Do you think they're just like teenagers?
What?
14,
They're older?
14, teen. They're teenagers.
But to me, they're still like tweens. I feel like you're only really a teenager when you're like 15 or 16. You're still like physically developing at like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
And yes, that goes back to the obviously 14 is young. Yes, but it goes back to the argument of like you being a parent, you teaching your kid right from wrong, and them having that agency that they have and choosing right from wrong. They're gonna make mistakes, sure, duh, but it's your teachings that are gonna lead them to be like, am I gonna continue doing this or am I gonna stop
Sure,
here?
yeah. I mean, in an ideal world, I want them to be the people that I raise them up to be. But, you know, you can't always trust that whenever you have different influences. You know, kids are very impressionable. And if it were up to me, I would definitely protect them, but not so much until they're 18. You know what I mean? Because then that becomes weird. That becomes like they're a little bit slow now. They're not in the loop. They're not very socially, you know, they're going to act like they have Asperger's or something. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to have it at a young age, but that's as young as I'll go personally, just because I feel like that is very, very young.
What's the age? I already forgot.
14 or 13.
I don't remember what the age was now.
I mean,
But
at
they
the end of the
don't
day,
give
I
them
understand where you're coming from. Like, I get it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. Like,
You just want the best for them.
yeah. But I just feel like it's a lot.
It's definitely because we both different, like all four of us have had very, I mean, I guess you guys kind of had similar childhood experiences, but I've had very different childhood experiences.
Yeah, we all have our own
And-
like personal anecdotes that we can like.
Right, yeah.
I mean, real quick.
And just like a poor person would want to give their kid the absolute world because they didn't have anything. I want to give my kid a childhood and innocence whenever I didn't when I was a kid. You know what I mean? That's what I want to give them. It's
Right.
almost like that.
Yeah.
I didn't have internet from the age of, let's see, it would have been like, I was probably 8 to 14. I didn't have access to internet at all. So
See,
I
that's
guess
why you're not
it's
good.
why,
So Zach
Huh?
is literally your like person.
My baby.
yeah. But I mean, I had access to the internet when I was around 8 and 7. We had internet and a computer. But then after that, we didn't have internet until I was 14. I got my own phone and I'm like, hey, I need internet for online school, and never did online school and just played video games all day.
And that's fine. You're 14, 15. That's totally fine. You had a grasp of the
Okay.
world. You know who
So
you
what?
were. You developed a personality. You exist. You were a conscious human being.
But I had access to internet when I was younger, and I feel like if anything, if I did anything bad or anything like crazy happened, I only learned from it. And I only like, I guess that's something to do with parenting too, because they were like, hey, don't do that. So
I mean, yeah, like I said, I would want my kid to grow up like you did. But I didn't grow up like that. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, and kids nowadays are not growing up like that either. So everyone has had very different experiences.
So what are you trying to keep them away from?
It's not even keep them away from anything. I don't want them to be slow. I don't want them to not, know things or be in the loop with their friends. I want to protect them from the bad things.
Like what?
Like bad websites, like pedophiles, like chat rooms, like Discord servers with Ava Chris Tyson. I don't want those things happen to my kids.
So tell them not to do it.
Okay, well, there's a difference between telling someone something and then telling a child something.
Okay, so when
Well,
you tell your
you're-
child not to
you're-
do that, and then you monitor them, you can react accordingly.
And there's always like the thing of like the more you tell a kid not to do something, the more they want to do it.
Yeah.
That's why like you have to give your kid like freedom to some extent. I'm not saying let them like I'm not saying once they're like get the internet just throw them out to the wolves. I'm saying like they have their freedom, right? Give them their freedom, but with like a little string attached to pull them back every now and then.
I mean, 100%. I believe in that too. That's totally fine. Kids deserve privacy. They need privacy. They need to feel like an individual. They don't need to feel like their entire, conversations with their friends are being dissected. I understand that. I felt the same way when I was a kid. But I don't know, man. It's just different. It's just different when it comes to the internet and like conversations with people online.
Yeah, I mean, like, I totally have the same sentiment, too. Like, obviously, I don't want my kid to, like, experience the bad websites and pedophiles and stuff, the, like, Dr. Disrespects out there. But it's like, I know I can only do so much until, like, it starts becoming a problem that, like, inadvertently happens.
For sure. I mean, I'm not naive to that. I mean, I know that for sure. I mean, I know eventually they're going to, open these websites. I know eventually they're going to, have unprotected sex. I know that eventually all these bad things are not necessarily bad, but these decisions that they're going to make without my, protection or knowledge or anything like that is going to happen. I know that. I'm not naive to that. I'm just saying when they're children, I would like to treat them as accordingly. I would like to treat them as if they were children. But when they start to become a teenager, they start to want to have, social interactions. They want to understand what the internet is. They want to have fun with their friends online. And that's the age I should give it to them. I don't think I should give it to them any earlier.
So what if they want to have fun with their friends online at the age of 8?
Then I'm like, yo, go to the park. I mean, I feel like at this point we just need to agree to disagree because I feel like
it's not an argument. Like
it's just going.
I'm just trying to. It's not really an argument because
So,
at the end of the day,
well, you're not
it's
like
your kid.
allow your
it
kid
does
to
feel
like
you guys are trying to like pick my brain and be like, well, you can't do this and this and this.
Well, no, I'm definitely not trying to like coerce you into changing. Like I've been trying to tell you, like, I respect that and I think that's great. I'm just saying, like, why I think why I disagree personally. Like if it's your kid, you can do whatever you want with your kid. I'm not trying to like coerce you into changing your opinion. That's fine. I think, and I don't think your opinion is necessarily like wrong either. It's just whenever it comes to like, I guess I am kind of like picking your brain just to kind of understand your point a little bit better. So like, from what I understand, you wouldn't give your kid like a PlayStation or something with like online capabilities to go play. Like if your 8-year-old is like, hey, my friends are playing like, I don't know, Call of Duty 27. No, you won't allow him.
If my children are begging me and Zach's like, yo, stop being a bad mom, like give them internet, and they're playing Minecraft, and I know the 2 kids they're playing with. Sure, they get Xbox Live for freaking a week, I guess, and they get to play on it, and if they really likes it, I can buy it for them, whatever. But it has to solely be those people, or at least people I know of in person. I have to at least know them in order for he or she to play online with them. I'm totally fine with that. They can play those type of online games.
Massive multiplayer online games, like with like random strangers.
I'm not okay with that until they're not fully developed, but they have a conscious brain. Not an 8-year-old.
I feel like those kids are gonna be like, bro, your mom super sucks.
Yeah, and the kid's gonna be like, yeah, I know, and then they're gonna grow up and be like, man, I love you, mom. I'm not traumatized,
They'd be like, yeah, but my dad's cool. He lets me play.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, mom.
Yeah, my mom's asleep. My dad lets me get on Siege.
He's gonna come up to you and be like, mom, thank you so much for not letting me get traumatized on COD, but my girl who's 16 is pregnant now, so I gotta move out and stuff. But thank you for not giving me the internet at 8 years old, mom. Fist bump.
Mom, I'm scared to go to school and talk to people.
His back hurts. He's at the cane. He's like, I told you so. Dude, that's my worst fear, man. Like my kids just like complete opposite morals.
Super
of me.
degens, yeah.
I have a funny story.
Go for it.
A really short story. Zoe, my little sister, she plays Gorilla Tag on the Oculus, right?
W game.
And my mom, she like plays in front of my mom, and my mom like she'll hear people being mean to her, like just calling her a little kid and like calling her a baby and stuff. And
then the people in Oculus.
Oculus, Gorilla Tag.
And Zoe told me that next time I went over there, and I'm like, just stick up for yourself. And then my mom told me that she started like just like people would make fun of her, and it's like, I'm not your friend anyway. And then like just like
that's adorable.
It's just funny.
You stinky anyways.
Yeah, like you poopy.
You're not even Skibbity Rizzler.
Kids are so funny, man. How do they even come up with these things?
But my sister, she is about to turn 6, and she plays Roblox and stuff. And my mom just sits on her phone and just watches her play for a couple hours. And if she plays anything, she kind of just like, checks in on her every now and then. And I feel like that's okay because, I mean, all she's doing is just carrying other Roblox players into a room and dropping them off over and over again. So like, there's no predators. There's nothing crazy like. So.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just different parenting styles. Like her kids playing, playing in her living room. My kid would be also playing in my living room, just not on an iPad. It would just be with like
toys,
blocks, or just different.
And she does that too, but
yeah, I think you can do both. I did both.
She allows her like a couple hours if she goes outside and has good grades and stuff.
I would say I balance like outside play and like inside play pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. Like my kid will never sit inside like I did, like a fucking loser.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's why I say I think you can like 100% do both.
I mean, I guess when I was a kid, I went outside a lot, but like as I got older, like high school, I just never left my room. So.
I think that's a lot of kids in high school.
But then at the same time, like I'm older. Like if my kid is 17, wants to sit in the room all day, whatever, as long as he's doing his shit.
Yeah, somebody's like not super degen.
For sure.
Well, is that all of our final thoughts? Anybody want to say anything else before you wrap?
I think you're all wrong and I'm right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have something.
That makes sense.
Go for it. Do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Me when
Sharing your opinions. I like to hear different point of views on that topic.
What a great discussion.
I don't know. My last thing is just like, I want to make it clear. I really wasn't like trying to like say that you're wrong or anything. I actually like respect your opinion, and yeah. I think like whenever in certain things it could be like a gender thing where like maybe like because of you being like a woman it was a little bit different. Like maybe like it's only like a girl thing that like who like girls only search up PP bed or whatever. I don't know, but
yeah, I was going straight in the boobies, man.
Yeah, I was over here like booby adult.com.
I didn't know what sex was, dude. I was like kissing in bed. Why is that scene always cut?
Why
happening at the end?
I don't idea why you would.
I don't know, man. I was a kid doing kid things.
Yeah, regular kid thing, like pee-pee bed? Let me see.
I didn't search up pee-pee bed. What are you talking about?
Anyways.
Okay, anyways, whatever. We're wrapping.
At the end of the day, me and Sarah probably had the same kid. And most likely I'll just go by her rules. Most likely, yeah. Maybe. Who knows?
The 50-50.
Might be someone else's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm more okay with her than mine, I guess. But I also like I have interests online. I want my kid to have also the same interests. So maybe that's why.
Yep. Okay. Well,
I have a feeling you're gonna teach your kids Siege as soon as.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the most popular game, and I'm just gonna make him play it 8 hours a day, and he's gonna be the fucking greatest.
As soon as Sarah's like, okay, he can have Xbox Live. Hey, son, come over here.
That's what I did with Zoe. I literally gave her an Xbox.
Gave her Siege.
It's really hard whenever me and Zach are like, if we're still gaming and we're playing like Siege, and I'm like, no, you can't have online or shooter games. You're like, well, I want to do what you're doing,
I want to hit some pubs and destroy noobs.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lock on our gaming room.
Okay, I think that's a good place to wrap though. It's getting late, anyways.
Yes.
I got work in the morning. So, thanks to all of you guys sharing opinions and stuff. And thanks to everybody who's watching. This is the first episode of the podcast. We don't have like a schedule or anything, so it's whenever we feel like recording again, we will.
Whenever we can get everyone here.
Yeah, whenever everybody can make time. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and watching. If you did make it to the end, I don't know how. But yeah, thank you guys. Bye bye.
Goodbye.